it was a minivan. It was one of those 40 Econoline vans. We had a CB radio, and I don't know why we had one. It was
we had one too. And then
so my dad would actually have it on sometimes, kind of quietly, but he could hear if there was traffic or something. Like he could kind of hear the truckers talking back and forth and whatever else. And I remember one time he let me use it, and this was 1993. No, had to be earlier. 1990, I think. So this is 8-year-old Tim getting on a CB radio, saying like, "Hey guys." So I said something. I said something with my high-pitched voice, and then I hear this trucker's voice come back on the other side going, "Is there a lady on here?"
Yeah.
And then I said,
"I'm not a lady.
I'm a boy." And then I heard on the other side some other trucker comes on and goes, "A bug." And so I remember getting really upset. Like, "I'm a boy." My dad was like, "You need to put it away now." That's
you're done with this.
Yeah, but no, I'm not a bug. Anyway, so there you go. There's my trucker story. That's all I got. That's it.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for resisting the urge to say racial slurs. Because I know you're
that's such a strong urge.
Meth usage in the trucker industry is prominent. That's my trucker fact.
I was just waiting for the pedophile truck driver to appear on the radio, but Tim didn't go in that direction. So
which exit you taking, boy?
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing like that. Yeah,
I'm taking exit Tim. That's what he said. And then your dad got mad. So
yeah.
Mad dad.
Yeah. Actually, my dad was pretty chill about it. He just gave me a Twizzler and told me to sit back down.
That's pretty much chill dad. Situation. You were happy with the Twizzler. You're not
that was our travel food. Like, even to this day, if we happen to have Twizzlers, and it's just the standard Twizzlers, not like the crazy peel off kind, not the twist whatever. It's like the real Twizzlers, the red Twizzlers, not the nasty black ones,
not the twist off kind.
Sure,
Tim's like, ugh.
You know what I'm talking about? Like the peel, like the
I think the peel ones.
Those are delicious.
Yeah.
How dare you? The cherry ones are delicious.
I bet Jeff is a red vine guy. Am I right?
I love red
vine guy.
Oh God,
I'm not an idiot.
On.
No,
yeah, I love red vines.
All right, so anyway,
I'm not in an either or camp on
Twizzlers to this day make me think of riding in our big brown Econoline van with like the captain's chairs and the curtains that weren't really. They didn't cover the whole window. Like that just takes me back there. So to me, that was like travel food. That's my dad's travel food. You just toss it back. Have a Twizzler. It was also a pretty mess-free food. Like, it doesn't cause a lot of messes for them.
Yeah, not too
it's
sticky.
It's just
really,
the bag ripping violently when you try to tear one out, and you're like, now the whole bag is broken.
Dude,
like
he was good at it because I remember as an adult I'm like, how did he do this? Because he would open it perfectly. It would sit in this little. He had this little like holder in the door that he would sit him in. I mean, he had it down, and I try to open it and it rips right down the side like an idiot. Yeah. Like, well, all right, now they're all falling out.
I think our dads are literally the same person, so that's fun because that was something my dad. Yeah, he that was every time he went on a trip, that was like his go. That and circus peanuts. The only reason I like circus peanuts is
circus peanuts.
Yeah, is because of my dad. Yeah. It's the only reason I like those.
I think my dad was a Charleston Chew guy. So
Charleston Chew. All right.
So he has no teeth now, is what you're saying.
He's got teeth.
he's got teeth.
Listen, sometimes that stuff carries over and it kind of gives you nostalgic feelings and you like it, right? Like Twizzlers or for you, circus peanuts. But sometimes, no matter what it is, it's too gross. Like the root beer barrels, I still don't like those. And
I don't like those
either.
either.
But
I did eat those when I was a kid, but now it's like
I love root beer, everything. And
same here.
You guys are so American.
Root beer.
That's such an American thing.
Root beer is so American.
I hate root beer. It's disgusting.
Root beer's good. I
can't
have
too
much
America
of it.
Then. Got you. But we made that clear that you hate America.
Yeah. Well, if it was Japanese beer, then sure.
Yeah.
We already know how
There's like 1,000 different types of root beers. You just haven't found yours yet.
Japanese root beer. If it was Japanese root
beers, like beers and root beers, like they're like the craft community of both of those weird subworlds are wild. So I would say, Dan, keep on trying root beer whenever you have one because like they're always different, and one day you might like one.
Hey Jeff, can you say root beer in Japanese for us?
Oh please, hold on. Let me get my recorder out. Hold
on. What's another American thing?
No, I'm ready. I'm ready here.
Akaroku. I don't know. I just said
so
red.
Racist.
Red
so
6.
Racist right now.
I just said red.
Let's look
6.
it up.
That's all I said.
We're gonna look up root beer in Japanese. Hang on.
I thought he was just gonna go Aruta beer.
and
then I was gonna go, you're racist, but now I had to demonstrate it, so I'm racist. So that's the circle of life right there.
The circle of
we would be
racism.
We would be the butt of the joke in Japan if we tried to say it. They wouldn't be offended. They'd be like, "Wow, you sound ridiculous."
Rutobio.
Say it,
Yeah, you're dumb.
say it again.
I don't know, guys. This is a very progressive show. 4 white dudes, you know.
I mean,
3 of them have big beards. So
They
mine's it
Google
seems like-
bigger than mine, Kyle. Bigger than mine.
I don't know. You're rocking the Soli goatee, man. So I think
That's all I have.
I feel like if that was just all you could do it, man. You know, but I
can't-
guess it just
literally
doesn't,
can't.
huh?
See right here, I had to like shave here because I'm my sister's bridal shower tomorrow, which is a whole thing. I don't even want to get into that.
All right, guys, I've got root beer in Japanese. You ready?
Me too.
All right, so I did it through Google Translate, and here's how the lady says it. Rutobia.
Sure.
So it is just root beer.
Right.
So,
yeah.
so I was right whenever I was being racist earlier.
Still racist, but yeah, you were right and racist.
Dude, it's not racist. I'm trying to say another word, another language.
No, I'm saying I was because I purposely did
Kyle's
like a
super
Japanese.
racist.
Yeah.
Between us 4 and Derek, Kyle is the most racist.
Oh God, that can't be right.
Listen,
I hope
we
not.
crunched the numbers. We crunched it.
No, we can't crunch it.
on, let me crunch
The
them
amount
again.
of times
Crunch.
that
Crunch.
CC
Crunch.
gets said in chat by not me, it can't be.
Closed caption. Yeah, we say that a
Closed
lot.
caption, exactly. Yeah.
We're very, very accessible that way.
True.
Well, I want to make sure that everybody can see what I'm saying. So
Right.
Yeah.
you know,
Yes. Yes.
That's fair.
it's not
That's
about
fair.
seeing. You know, sometimes. it's about-
I am still learning Japanese, but I'm still like I do like one lesson a day, so it's like really, really slow.
That's
I
the
mean,
way to
it's
do it
not
though,
easy.
because then you can think about that lesson all day, and then you'll
Exactly.
retain it.
Yeah.
You know?
So
By
I'm
the
still
way,
like
that's how I learn
learning the
best.
numbers I already know, basically.
This episode is brought to you by Pyroraptor of, I've assumed, the new Jurassic World movie that's coming out. Dr.
So
Pepper.
dumb.
Yeah.
That is the
I wish we had
dumbest-
Dr. Pepper money.
They are just fast and furiousing that franchise to death. It's crazy to me.
Well,
Also,
no,
they're
this is
making
the
it
end,
better
right?
and better every
So
movie.
yeah,
That's what
exactly. When I watch the new trailer, I go, you know, like a piece of me should love this. It's aliens, it's dinosaurs like in a city, like chasing people. But when I watch it, that's exactly how I feel. I was like, this is like Fast and the Furious now. Like we're
mean-
so far in like imagination land, which is silly. I know it's a weird critique
yeah,
for
I
a
was gonna
dinosaur
say,
movie,
like-
but like. It's been about like weaponizing dinosaurs for 3 movies now. Like I'm so over it. Like
But
this
think
series
about
is
it,
so
though.
dumb. I won't, Dan. I won't.
No,
think
but
about
hold
it.
on.
Yeah,
hold on.
no, I
But-
refuse.
No, but think about it though. Isn't that kind of what people would do? I mean, really though.
No.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
We
People
wouldn't.
suck. People
we
suck.
wouldn't bring back dinosaurs and then weaponize
People
them.
would
That's-
absolutely do that because
I
money.
I
kind
draw,
of
I draw the
money.
line at the love triangle between Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and the Raptor. I thought that was a little much. Like I thought.
I really liked it when Bryce Dallas Howard made out with the Raptor to make.
Yeah.
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Violent,
Peter
but it was
Quill
good.
Jealous. It was
Yeah.
really violent.
Yeah.
But, primordial. You know, primal.
The gangbang scene was a little necessary to all the Raptors on that.
Super weird. Which is,
Hey.
I guess, where the new baby in the trailer came from. Was a product
Right,
of the gangbang
right,
from
right.
last
Obviously,
movie.
a
Kind of
Raptor
like
having a-
the Raptor
Chip and Dale, right? Kind
gangbang.
of like Chip and Dale, right? The Chip and Dale.
I didn't see it. I don't know.
Chip and Dale, or however the song goes. I don't know how it goes.
Jeff
That's
and
close.
Tim get that
Close.
reference. The
Yeah.
the fly and the rat making babies.
Absolutely.
That's not
Everyone's seen
weird at all.
everyone's seen this movie now. It's
Yeah,
definitely
I
on my
did,
list. Yeah, it's definitely on my list to watch.
Kyle,
'cause
you
of
will
the
like
one-
it. You will like it a lot. That's
It
for
definitely has like a
Okay.
Shrek vibe with Donkey and the dragon.
I've never seen any of the Shreks, but
when they have their dragon donkey babies.
Donkey.
Sure. I remember
Um,
that. I used to
yeah.
watch the first one religiously, and then they kept going.
My wife and
I was
I
gonna
still
say
quote
like
the
Shreks are
first
so
one.
loved. Those are movies I always wanted to go
They're
back
pretty
to and
funny.
watch just
They're
to see.
they're fine. The first one was just kind of unique, and I thought it was really really good.
Yeah.
And I still quote the first one. Things like the random stuff, like when Eddie Murphy goes, "Look at that boulder. That's a nice boulder." We always
Yeah.
quote, "That's a nice boulder." My wife, I don't know why.
Pancakes.
It's just we find that to be really funny.
I'm into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right. Well, we've got some stuff.
I
to talk
quote
about.
Michael
All right,
Scott.
actually.
I quote Michael Scott doing the donkey from Shrek.
Shrek.
I'm a donkey.
I'm a
Donkey
donkey.
Shrek.
This is Mike Tyson. Right, he's like Ryan. Pick up, Ryan.
Oh man.
This is Mike Tyson.
And then he starts like laughing into the phone.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And Ryan's just like, please kill me. Like,
Yeah.
That's the best show. All right. Let's start this actual episode here, episode 118. We'll start with stuff we're playing and things that we're watching, and then we'll go into headlines where I think we've got a lot to cover here. Again, just like last week, although we're not going to try to fit in a hour-long tournament before we do all that this time.
Oh
so
man.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So we're not going to do that. But of course, there's plenty of new stuff that is released to watch. So we'll talk about new episodes of some things. And we didn't put it on here, but maybe even any updated impressions now that episode 3 of Obi-Wan is out. Lots of news from the Sony State of Play, as well as just other pieces of news that have dropped. New trailer for Pokemon, stuff like that. And of course, anything that we've been playing. So let's start this time with things that we are currently playing. And I'll just kick it off by saying I did complete Sniper Elite 5. It's got 9 missions. There is a 10th one that I thought sounded cool. It was called like Wolf Mountain, and I'm pretty sure this is where you go assassinate Hitler based on the imagery for it. But I clicked on it, and there was like this little there was like a little icon on the corner of it, and I was like, all right, whatever, I'll click on it, because the credits rolled after the 9th one, and you kind of you take out the main villain that's been in the game.
That's not Hitler.
And then no, it's not. But anyway, he's the main villain of this particular little story they have. And then anyway, I clicked on the 10th one, and it's DLC you have to buy for like $6 extra. So I was like, no, not going to do that.
So you have to pay $6 to kill fake.
It was like 5 something. It probably would have rounded up to 6 with some tax and stuff like that. But
kill fake Hitler, sure.
And I assume that they have other things that you get in there, probably additional achievements, weapons, whatever else. If you do a lot of multiplayer, maybe there's stuff there. There's a lot of multiplayer that you can do in this game. I just haven't gotten into any of that. I just wanted to do the single player. Let me assassinate the ridiculously dumb AI because it's fun, and that's what I did. So I thought it's a pretty fun game. It's a swimming in sevens game. Lots of glitchiness and silliness with the AI, and or the game just doing what it's not supposed to do, or loading up weird. Or
did you try the shooting in the junk, Tim? Did you try that?
I didn't. I did not. I'm sorry.
Tim, come on, Tim.
This is why we're never going to cut it in the reporter realm of this industry.
This is why.
No one's going to take us seriously.
We don't do the field work, guys. I don't know.
So I was going to, but then I watched the first 2 episodes of The Boys, and I was like, you know what? I've had enough crotch action for 1 week. I'm done with that. I'm just going to do normal headshots. Not going to do any of that.
Shocking stuff.
Yeah, totally shocking. But yeah, I think Sniper Elite 5 is something I can recommend, especially because it's on Game Pass. If you liked the previous ones, this is more of that with some improvements. And the stealth is pretty fun, but it's not, I don't know, it's just not a top tier game. There's plenty of visual moments that make you go, and there's other moments that are like, all right, this looks pretty good. So it's a mixed bag across the board, but generally pretty fun. It was fun enough for me to play it all the way through. I wanted to play all the missions. I thought the level design was really cool. So
how long would you say it was altogether?
It depends on how meticulous you are. Like, do you want to be spotted? Do you care about running and gunning?
Sure.
If you don't care about a lot of that stuff, you could probably get through the game in 5, 6, 7 hours to fly through each mission. Same with Hitman, really. Like, if you just kind of stumble through it and it looks really bad, but you kill your target and run to the exit.
Sure.
To me, that's not fun, but you can complete those games really quickly.
You could beat Hitman in an afternoon if you just ran through every level.
If that's all you did, yeah. Yeah, you can kind of just learn where to run and where not to be spotted real quick to just run past everyone.
I tested that in the nightclub level, and I just ran in there and shot everybody who I needed to, and
then left.
That's it. The 10 minutes for that level.
That's, of course, in my opinion, not nearly as fun because they've created a lot of really cool things for you to do, and it's the same thing in Sniper Elite. I think they've taken some pieces from Hitman to say, like, you can just go straight there. Here's where your target is. You can just find them and try to snipe them if you want, or they create all these additional challenges like poison them, or drop this missile casing on their head when they come to inspect it. Like, they have all kinds of different ways you can assassinate folks. So it's a little Hitman-esque at times. Cool. But yeah, I like that game. It was pretty fun. And if it weren't on Game Pass, I probably wouldn't have played it, to be honest with you. It would have been one of those ones I waited till it was on a steep sale. But it is on Game Pass. The other one, one of the other ones I've played this week is called Card Shark. It just dropped this week on PC and Switch. This is one that was in some sort of indie sizzle reel at one point. I want to say it was an Indie World.
I think it was a Nintendo Indie Direct.
Yeah, I think it was. But there's a demo that I played on Steam, so I didn't buy this game yet, although I do think it's worth the buy if you like. How did I describe this? Okay, so Card Shark is basically, it's set in I want to say it's like 18th century, maybe, France. And you are a mute, essentially, servant in this bar or restaurant or tavern or some kind. And some stuff happens and you end up helping this card shark, this thief, this swindler. You start helping him and his ragtag band of thieves, and they start teaching you card tricks. And all the card tricks have some sort of trick to it. Like you tap a button at the right time, or you swipe one of the analog sticks in the right direction at the right time to properly mark a spot in the deck, or to maybe signal to whoever's playing with you what suit the other players have. Like they set up all these scenarios where you are doing specific button presses, but you have to kind of memorize them. It won't always tell you what to push. You have to remember, hey, if it's hearts, rotate the stick this way, or if it's diamonds, or you know what I mean. Like there's different. They teach it to you. They offer to practice as much as you want, and then they put you in a real game, and then they want you to kind of shuffle, deal, and perform as quickly as you can in order to win money. So it's very kind of charming and creative. I think it's kind of an adventure game with a little bit of rhythm and memorization elements to the gameplay. That's how I would describe it. So I guess you would call that puzzle, sort of, right? Where you have to kind of memorize button presses and
yeah, like a puzzle card game, right?
A little bit like puzzle, but you're not actually playing. At least not yet. The demo I've only played probably 6 encounters or little missions or whatever you call them, and I haven't had a situation where they want me to actually play poker. I'm just doing their little swindle games to steal money essentially during these games. So anyway, I think it's creative. The animation of the characters kind of reminds me of Artful Escape. Remember how those characters move around kind of like paper cutouts a little bit? Yeah. So it's just the animation of the characters remind me of Artful Escape, but the look of it is very much like a watercolor painting. And it's, you know, it's side scrolling. There's very few moments where you get to kind of walk around. Usually you just kind of pick a spot to go and you start. So anyway, I think it's creative. It's a cool little game. It's worth trying to demo if you've got PC. So I did see that someone's been playing a little Chrono Cross. I know Dan's already beat it. So
yeah, Jeff, could you give the whole title? I don't see what the whole title is though.
Oh, it's just, you know, the Radical Dreamers edition. There's no other.
No, I think there's a little more to that. I mean,
no, it's just, that's it. Somebody must have made a typo or something in the notes.
Sure.
Sure. But yeah, I didn't play a whole lot. I gave it like the most casual of diddles. So it was, you know, brief, and I got through a couple battles, and it is a more fast-paced. I have no experience with this title, by the way.
Sure.
So I wasn't like a fan of it going into. Can you call this a remake? It doesn't really look like one.
It's a remaster.
It's a remaster, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't have anything associated with, I don't know, with the franchise, whatever you want to call it, the title before. Yeah, I was, I did like that the turn-based style of combat is a little faster paced. You can just kind of button mash a little bit if you wanted to. If you wanted to just go attack the entire time, just button mash. Sure. It's a little faster that way, and I do prefer that instead of like triangle strategy is like, okay, I got to be patient for this and, you know, actually think this through. This one's like maybe just attack, maybe just keep doing it, you know.
With basic basic combat, yeah, and then obviously with boss fights, there might be a little more of like you're gonna have to strategize and the elements and so on and so forth. But
yeah. But I liked what I played. It's just I don't think I'm in the mood for that kind of game.
Yeah,
like the turn-based. It's kind of like a top-down kind of view.
Yeah, it's not super short. It's not super long either, but it's definitely not short. So
and it looks pretty decent for it being remaster of a game that was on what, PS1 or some shit.
Very colorful, right? Like really vibrant.
Oh yeah, especially the world map is like basically like the style of it is like a painting, like the actual aesthetic of it. I
see that.
Just very painter-esque. And then the music, I mean, the music is insane.
I think the overworld music is still some of my favorites.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
just sit there in the overworld and listen to that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
music's good. I don't know if I'll play it that much more than a brief diddle, but hey guys, I tried it.
There you go.
Tried it, guys.
Gee, thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome. To the studio that made Chrono Cross, you're very welcome.
You did that as a favor for us. That's what a guy. What a guy.
What a nice man.
You purchased
definitely
it.
I purchased it, and it's called the Radical Dreamers Edition, and there's nothing else on the title. There's nothing else at all.
More like radical bullshit is what I'm saying.
Yeah, more like radical. Let me play something else real quick. Or I don't know. I'm not that clever right now. I don't know, guys.
Fine.
I feel like I woke up an hour ago, so I'm like, yeah. If you ever have the itch for it, Jeff, Trigger is on on Steam.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
You know, so if it ever goes
so that's
down
what you were referring to. Okay.
If it ever goes down to $2, $2 or whatever, like pick it up.
And Square has done a number of Steam sales, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's worth full price, but
it is.
But
sure,
obviously
but
Jeff has to be in the mood.
To Jeff, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know what version it is though. I know there's like
the Steam one, you mean?
Yeah. For Trigger.
I know
there's
know.
like hated versions of that game.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm like making enemies by like pitching this one.
Because there's like the DS version, and then there's
like
Steam.
a mobile version too. I think that people like that they changed the color palette on. I forget. Do not let me.
Well, Square has done that with a lot of the Square with the mobile versions, like with Final Fantasy, for example, they like redid the sprites with like the classic ones, and people really did not like that.
Remember when they did the update for 3? Ugh. Yeah.
Like on the DS, or you mean?
Yeah, that one was like super. Yeah, that one on the DS. That one was like super polygonal and weird.
See, I like 3 and 4 on the DS. I like.
I like those games, you know, but like I'd rather pixel art if I,
Sure.
Yeah.
So I remember playing, of course, the SNES version the most. I did play it all the way through on DS, and I loved it. I thought that version was really cool because the bottom touchscreen
and I thought DS was one that was not liked either, and I really liked Trigger on DS a lot. Like
I really liked it, but apparently the Steam version has been reworked and pretty good. Like I think initially it was pretty poor, but I'm pretty sure it's well liked now, but I could be wrong on that.
It's been so long since I played it. I'm picking it up and playing it because I play PC, guys. I do that now.
PC. So. Hey, what else have you been playing on PC,
Master Race, bro.
Oh my gosh. Well, if only I had like an app that I could just launch and look at what I've been playing. It's crazy. I have been really enjoying like jumping down the rabbit hole for a lot of old games, so I'm going back and just checking out how things run on here. So I've been playing a lot of Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO, which has been fun. I think we've talked ad nauseum about that, so I won't dwell on that too much. I'm replaying Space Marine right now, which like is super hard. It's really hard to just get a copy of that game and play it, digitally, on any of the consoles. So like. That's been the coolest thing about Steam, which I know I'm just saying things that 1,000, million people know,
but
it's
like
new
to you.
It's new to me, but it's super nice the way that PC culture is ensuring that we keep old games available and ready to play. Something that Microsoft is learning to do, something that Sony is kind of dragging their feet to do, and something that Nintendo is very good at doing. So it's just interesting to watch the different platforms, tackle that problem in a different way. But I feel like Steam is like the biggest library of like games in a game vault that you could possibly get. Yeah. I'm playing Persona 4 Golden, which I'm pretty sure was only on like PS Vita.
It was just the Vita. Yep.
So like, here's another version of a game that's like entombed somewhere that no one could play. It's one of the greatest JRPGs of all time. It's slick on the PC. It's super slick. I'm really enjoying that a lot.
I kind of forgot that was on there, to be honest.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah. Fallout New Vegas, which never ran great on consoles. Like I'm playing it on PC, and I'm like, this is how this game's supposed to run. Like this is amazing. Like, this game. This is
how this game is supposed to run.
This is why everyone talks about this game. So
that's
boldly,
exactly. Yep.
That's
exactly.
But every time I ever played it, like on consoles, it was a mess. So
I beat that on my PS3.
Really? How?
Base PS3.
It seems like a good way to beat your head against the wall. God, I had nothing but problems on both Xbox and PS3 with that game. I tried it on both consoles, and I was like, what is going on with this game? Other games like Way of the Samurai, that's an old series. That's like, again, entombed on old PlayStation consoles, specifically the PS3. This has 3 and 4. You can just download it. You can play your controller, and it just works. Like my Xbox 360 or Xbox One controller works on like all the games that I'm talking about right now. Yeah. No downloading external apps or anything like that. I know, again, I'm just saying things that people know. But like, holy crap!
But it's nice, right?
It's super nice, man. Yeah. Sometimes
that's the default now. Yeah.
Sometimes I plug my PS5 into my PS5, and it's like I don't know what this is. Like so. It's just it's nice to be able to plug a completely foreign object into a machine, and it just go, yeah, I know what this is. So again, I'm playing like Bully and
Steam for the most part just registers any controller as that's USB as just gamepad.
Yeah, it's gamepad.
It's like gamepad.
And gamepads are kind of set up the same, so everything kind of falls on the same buttons and everything. Right. Apparently, I can go grab my PS5 controller and plug it in too, and it'll work just fine. If you have a preference. So.
Yeah, this episode brought to you by Steam, everybody.
Steam, everybody. Steam. Played a little bit of V Rising. Tim, I might need you to show me the road. I have no idea what I'm doing in that game.
What were your first impressions?
I liked it. I think it's really slick looking. And I kind of dig the whole idea.
Your own vampire is kind of cool, right?
Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah, and I haven't gotten to any like the base building stuff, but that's the stuff I really want to get into. And I still need to take our trip down Valheim. Playing playing Vampire Survivors, highly suggest that one if you're a big Robotron fan. It's just kind of like, how long can I make it in a bullet hell type game? So there's
that's
like
on
no
Game Pass, right? Or, no, wait.
No, Vampire Survivors is. I don't think it's on Game Pass. It's on. It might be. I don't know. I thought it was a PC only game, like some small little indie game. But it's $2. It's on Steam. It's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm playing some of the old Dragon Age games. Like I picked up Dragon Age Origins.
Just to be clear, Vampire Survivors is on Game Pass for PC.
Oh, for PC. See, I haven't explored that much. But yes, if it's on Game Pass for PC, it's download
the Xbox app and sign in with your account, and it'll show you the Game Pass games available.
Get out of here! I'll do that. Yeah, I'll make sure I do that. That's awesome. But yeah, I also have Dragon Age Origins, which I hated on consoles, which I hear like it was an RPG just not made for controllers.
See, it's so funny because like I played that on my PS3 also. I loved it. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's you're very tolerant to bad controls, you know.
Yeah, I am.
That's pretty interesting for you,
guys. Dan's easily the most tolerant and accepting of this whole
I am
group.
so patient.
Really?
With games, like,
no, that's not true at all. That's not true at all.
Hold on. I am very patient with video games. Other things, not so much.
Anyways, yeah. So I'm checking that one out now that I have a mouse and keyboard, you know. So I have a lot of stuff I'm getting to, guys, and I'm playing more games than ever. It's all old stuff. I'm real deep into Grand Theft Auto 4, which I'm really enjoying on PC.
Nice. You know, does the driving not suck, or because
it's heavy. Yeah, I mean, like the controls are heavy, man. You know, it's crazy. Dragon Age Inquisition, ready to play 100 hours in that game again, I guess. A lot of games I'm playing on.
Not that you need another source of games outside of what I just told you with Game Pass and what you're doing with Steam.
Don't do that. Whatever you're doing, don't.
Epic Game Store still has their major sale going on for the next couple of weeks, where they're
redeeming the free games, you know.
And they, of course, every week there's free games on Epic Game Store, but and you can just add them to your library. Right now, the free game is Wolfenstein Order.
Oh yeah.
That's a good game.
Yeah, it's a very good game.
So.
I'll download
Epic Games
now.
for me is something that I just kind of have in the background, and then I check it every now and then. It's not my primary source of. Steam is still it for me. Like that's.
Yep. I like how almost everything is on Steam, and like it's almost kind of a knock against if it's not. And I'm like, oh, I get it now, because it's nice to have like a collective library, like an app that you launch and go, hey, I want to launch my games from this one thing.
Yep.
But also I remember back how like mad people were at like launching different apps for different games. I remember just being kind of a console game and going like, just double click it, whatever.
I mean, I think
I still feel that way. You know, I feel like you can just not complain and just open a different app.
Right.
But like, I also understand what's nice about like having everything in like a launchable.
I understand nothing. I understand.
I mean, it almost feels like a cloud-based console in a way, because it's like, hey, you could upgrade your PC anytime, and your Steam library is still sitting right there, ready to go. And so something about that. Although I really would love to see consoles catch up with that. In some ways they are. I think Xbox is the closest because they kind of understand that PC mentality and they allow.
I think Xbox is definitely the closest. Yeah.
But
I was going to add the Steam Deck is actually a pro with Steam as well, because if you have a Steam Deck, then you have all of those games you can play, or most of them, right?
They have ones that are technically you could fire up any game on there. It's just a lot of them aren't going to work properly, and then a lot of them aren't totally tested on this. They have like little symbols that'll say like Steam Deck approved or whatever.
So I mean that's a pro for Steam versus Epic Game Store too.
I've only been steered astray once with like the labels on Steam. Like Dragon Age 2 was like, you can use a controller for this, and then when I load up and then look at the like Steam discussions or whatever, there is no controller support for that game.
Really?
At all. And it's the only game that I've been fooled on so far.
It's almost like
I would say they do a really good job of doing their checks and balances, but there are some hiccups here and there. I'm so in love with like the whole Steam platform in general, and again, it's been 10 years since I've even launched this application, that like getting a Steam Deck now is like a little bit more of a priority for me. Just because I want to switch that bad boy up, be able to take it to work. And
apparently I'm supposed to be able to get mine between July and September.
I can reserve one now and get one by October, apparently. So
I know. So I was really at the back of the line. I feel so stupid. I thought I finally got through. I remember it was last July when we did this, when they announced it and they went up for pre-sale, and I kept refreshing and trying multiple browsers and devices, and I finally got through, and I was like, I got one, I secured one, and it turned out I was like literally like second to last.
Awesome. Yeah.
Excellent. Anyway, another game that came out that I think is pretty noteworthy that we should mention is Diablo Immortal. Like I know it's.
Oh, I played that. Yeah.
So it was announced, of course, in 2018 as a mobile only game. I actually stumbled across the reveal event, which was really hilarious. It was at BlizzCon.
Now. It's one of the most memed
2018.
Oh, it was BlizzCon. Excuse me.
Yeah, where they announced it, talked about being mobile only, and then one of the fans was able to ask the question: "Are there any plans to bring this to console or to PC in the future?" And they pretty much said no. And of course, that's changed because it's on PC. But they said no, and the crowd started booing, and the guys got real defensive on the stage, kind of like, "Do you guys not have phones?" And so that's like.
It's like, yeah, we just don't want to play freaking crap on the phone.
It was the PS3 guy going, get a second job if you want one. Sure. Levels of like unchecked,
Yep. So yeah, that was pretty rough. But anyway, so I stumbled across that. But I downloaded this game on my PC. I actually have not tried it on my PC yet. I played it on my phone earlier today for a little while. It's got the touchscreen controls, and I was determined to hate it because I hate touchscreen controls. There's no way I'm going to enjoy this. And I've already beaten 2 of the bosses, and I think it's really fun, even on the phone. You're part of the
problem, dude. Tim, can I be honest?
Pretty fun on the phone.
Hard same, Tim. I booted this up and go, oh my god, I have to set up a BattleNet account. I have to do all this. I was so mad doing this. I don't want to play this. Like, I don't care. And like by the time I got in and made a mage and like got like, I don't know, I killed like 20, 30 dudes. I was like, this is kind of fun.
It's kind of fun. These abilities are pretty cool, and I don't care about. It looks really good, yeah.
And it controls really well. Like I don't like simulated joysticks. Like I don't think any of them have ever worked ever. And like I'm not saying that I'm like a believer now, but like I'm playing this one and I haven't checked it out on PC yet, so got to be something.
So I do think it's pretty fun. It feels like Diablo, and I think on the PC it'll probably feel even more like Diablo. You create your character, you got a couple classes to choose from, but there are once you hit a certain point, the world map opens. You've beaten a couple of the bosses, and then they introduce the shop to you, and that's where you can pay to upgrade and get your daily bonuses. And so there's a lot of that. And there's a lot of guides out there that show you how you can experience the game and really have a lot of fun with it, like a Diablo game, without paying a dime. That's awesome. But there's also a lot of end game stuff that if you're super into this game and you're going to keep grinding for that top level gear, you're going to have to spend money or an exorbitant amount of time. It's going to be crazy.
And they put it in a really interesting time frame in the timeline between 2 and 3, where there like a lot of time had passed. So like there's a lot of story to tell here, apparently. Cool. So it's apparently really lore enriching and faithful to kind of everything that's come before it story wise, which is cool.
It's
Again, they're treating it like a real Diablo game. Wow. It's just also microtransaction rich and free. So
correct.
I was gonna say it is a smart one to throw out there in this style, because I mean Diablo obviously is a beloved series. So if it plays well and it's fun and it actually is interesting, like you said, story-wise, you're gonna get some suckers in there that are like, well, I guess I'll throw $5 at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and 3 really brought Diablo to a mainstream audience. It's way less hardcore than Diablo 2. Like it's very, very, very streamlined. And like this is like the next evolution of that. Whereas like Diablo 4 now kind of maybe has an opportunity to make a lateral move to be a little more involving, a little more, hardcore, while this caters to all those new Diablo 3, more casual, players. So
yeah, I think it's pretty fun. I picked Necromancer, and right away you get a couple of little skeleton buddies to help you fight, and so that's pretty fun. And then also the abilities they give you are already really fun, and the way that you aim it is actually pretty intuitive. So you've got your main attack. It's kind of a big button for your thumb to naturally just either hold down or tap on, whatever you want to do. And then you got the smaller little buttons around it that are your special moves that unlock as you level up. And if there's a move that kind of has a cone or a directional aiming requirement, you just hold that button down and just drag your thumb in the direction you want to aim it, and it's pretty precise. And I was able to aim, and I'm assuming with mage you got to do the same thing. You got to aim some of your special attacks and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. And there's a couple moves that I have that I swing a big scythe, and for every enemy that I hit, not even kill, it creates a corpse. And since I'm a necromancer, I can explode all those. A follow-up move I can do, and a big ring around me that can then make any corpse in the area explode and do damage to enemies. So I'm just doing these awesome combos while my skellies are out there hitting, and I'm like, this feels way more fun than it should. This should not. I was hoping to hate it so I could come on here and be like,
same,
Diablo Immortal sucks.
Like these shills, and screw Blizzard and their like weird, work culture, but they apparently pumped out a pretty okay game. So
it's pretty solid, and it's free. So But it's not free of. There's soft costs, right? It takes time. You got to set up an account if you don't have a Battle.net account.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it was like 30 minutes of downloading and setting up an account on my end. Yeah.
It takes a minute, and actually mine crashed for a while when I was trying to update, so I just had to delete and re-download it. So it's definitely not glitch free. But anyway, there you go. Anything else you guys are playing you want to call out before we talk about some stuff we're watching?
Yeah, I put down. So I've actually started like fully playing. I even posted the I did like a let's play of it, the Anno Mutationum, which is
Andromeda, Mass Effect Andromeda.
No, actually, I was gonna say I'm gonna have to call an audible with that, guys. I'm just not in the mood to really have that.
Sorry, none of you are following through. Only I did.
Yeah.
Well, your game is fun, and
Tim,
it's competent.
if this birthed you playing and beating Sleeping Dogs, then you know what? Mission successful.
It was all worth it. Yeah. Mission accomplished.
I beat Elden Ring the other day. So
congratulations. Yeah,
yes,
big deal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Pro gamer. So
congrats on your cheating capabilities.
Yes, okay.
Cheated.
Obviously.
The only way people can beat that game is by cheating.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, cool.
Exploitations. Yep.
Interesting. I wasn't aware of that because I beat it legitimately. So apparently,
Did you know?
You cheated. You reached out to Mr. Mr. Elden Ring, and you got some cheats.
Railroad Martin. Was it Railroad Martin? Whatever is what's his first name? George. Yeah.
Railroad Martin.
George Railroad Martin. But anyways, Roger. Anno Mutationum. It's super cool, kind of like pixelated, cyberpunk action RPG. So just a bunch of words mixed
really
together.
Cool.
It's got it's got a really cool presentation. One thing that frustrates me though, and Tim knows this, with voiceover, how I am about VO. If you don't have so this game is like, it has VO, but it's kind of like, it's like 60-40. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely a good chunk of moments where there isn't VO, and it's like, well, come on, guys. I mean, just pick a lane, because it's like the VO is actually pretty decent. So like some really cool cutscenes will happen, and those will have VO, and it's like, oh, this is really interesting. It's very cyberpunk, and people love that sort of vibe and aesthetic and so on and so forth. And then when you meet certain other characters, and it's just like I'm having to read everything, and it's like, well, that's taken me out of the experience. I was enjoying that moment a second ago when you had the VO. So, but other than that, the gameplay, it's just really slick. You got like swords and a gun. And obviously then you get a great sword. So you basically do combos with like a shorter sword with a great sword and the gun. The actual platforming is decent. So like, it looks slick, and it actually feels really well to play. Nice. And it's like a 2.5D perspective. So sometimes you're just going left to right, but then other times you're actually going forward to back. Like if you're in a city, there's you can explore the city, and you're actually going down alleyways, like as you're going into the foreground, or into the background, sorry. So it's really cool. I do like it. It's not like a perfect game by any means. Like I said, the VO thing is kind of an issue for me. And sometimes in when you're fighting things, it kind of like the placement of where your character is, the character Anne. Like if I'm trying to dodge something, she kind of does like a really long roll, and that's like the main dodge. So sometimes if you're really close to the enemy and you're trying to dodge them, you like roll super like far past them. Mm-hmm. Whereas you kind of want to be right behind them, so then you can take advantage of them when they're about to strike. So kind of like your placement's kind of important when you're in the middle of combat. But yeah, it's really fun. And I think it's if you're just interested in just kind of like what the general like vibe of the combat is and like the story, just skim through the Let's Play I did. I did like an hour and a half. I kind of bounced around within the first like 3 hours, just so you have a general idea. Because I don't really see a lot of people talking about this, at least like in our Facebook group. I don't really see anybody bringing this game up. And I think it's absolutely worth trying out. I think it's really cool. So.
And you said, where are you playing this one?
On my PS5.
PS5. Got it.
Yeah, PS5. So yeah, I think it's really cool. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, and listen, I know there's a bunch of stuff that we are all watching, and I have just been summoned to help with some kid-related stuff. So you guys get the conversation going on what you're watching. I will join and talk about some stuff I'm watching too. But I will be right back. You guys keep going though. What are some of the TV shows, movies that you're into at the moment?
Is the child army breaking out of the barracks, Tim?
That's what it seems like. Yeah, I'll be back.
Insurrection.
So we should do boys last then, right? To wait for Tim, because I assume he's caught
boys
up on
and
that.
Obi-Wan even though I guess we can't really talk too much about Obi-Wan without spoilers. So just
Yeah.
like, oh, it was good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's. I mean,
I really
even
liked
the
it.
trailers. Barry is doing a great job with its trailers for the next episode, because the episode will end, and then at the end it'll be a 5-second clip from the next episode, and it'll be a character you've never seen before, just staring at the camera or about to say a line.
Sure.
Like last week, it was like a guy at a coffee shop just going, "Next, please," and it was like, Barry.
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
all right.
I'm super into how goofy this show got in this season.
Yeah.
You and I have been talking in a different chat, Jeff, about like the amount of like background characters that are in the foreground. They're the focus of a scene, while like something Barry is doing is either in the very forward-facing foreground or the very, very background.
Right.
But like the side character is saying nonsense. Like, it's just like, if you're listening to what they're talking about, like, it's completely insane, you know?
But like,
it's just surreal and weird.
Right? It's like murder.
But like in the background,
like
Barry's like choking someone, or you know, like it's so ridiculous. Like,
and meanwhile, the guy in the foreground, who's a bit actor, he's not even a main character, is saying, like, he's a car salesman trying to sell a car, and he's like, blah, 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 this car is great. It's not as good as my wife who cheated on me, but we reconciled. And they're rambling about their freaking wife.
He's going on about his wife. Like, he's selling a car. What are you talking about? And then in the background, like, Barry's like crashing a motorcycle and like getting up and shooting people. And it's just so great. It's crazy. Like,
this sounds like just the general vibes of that one episode with the little girl. Like, just how outrageous.
Very much so. I feel like so takes that flag and runs with it. I think a lot of people responded pretty positively to that.
They did, for sure. I mean, look at how well a small bit that they only intended to be the opening of the show paid off.
Right.
For it to be the entire episode. That was the, you know, like that opening, the opener of the show was just supposed to be them and the Karate Kid or whatever.
Right.
And it turned into the whole episode because they were just like, this is just too good. Like,
it was amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who wrote the original script of that episode was probably like, what the hell, guys? Yeah.
Might have been Bill.
I worked all night on that episode.
Bill Hader's been getting his hands on more and more with the show, and you can tell. And it just makes me want to see more stuff from him, honestly, because like the last episode involves like a chase scene, and there's like some video gamey elements to it, like GTA elements to it, that made me go, I want to see what Bill Hader does like with an actual action movie, because like the way it's shot, he directed it, so the way it's shot is just like
it's really well done.
It's so freaking.
He's clearly super, like, way more talented than anyone thought he was capable.
Yeah,
of.
He's more than just the impersonation guy on SNL.
Right.
Like,
this isn't a Fred Armisen niche Portlandia thing. This isn't a Will Forte in MacGruber getting cult status. This is like Bill Hader is like an undeniable talent at this point. You know,
that is like the perfect way to describe that. Yeah, because other SNL alumni have succeeded in different lanes, and like he's like succeeding in a way that like doesn't make him better than those guys, but like to me it makes him more like multifaceted, talented.
It's kind of like Jim Carrey, when like he was just the comedic actor, and then eventually he started doing serious roles.
I think there was a similar like social breaking moment for both of those actors, where it's like, I need to be more than what I am, and I think that they both kind of succeeded in their breakout. So Robin Williams too, you know, like it's
so I didn't even
I can't keep on making laughs. I gotta do serious stuff too.
Yeah, I do love Robin's. For the most part, it's kind of like I just watched a movie, Adam Sandler. Whenever he does a serious role, I'm like, I gotta buckle up, because there's chances are likely that an Adam Sandler in a drama is gonna be better than anything he does in a comedy nowadays. Like anything. His comedies just fall flat for me. But like
someone tried to bring up recently too, and it's like, well, that's just a recent phenomenon. I'm like, no, Spanglish and Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
Reign Over Me. These are old movies of him doing dramas that have worked very well. So like, no.
Punch Drunk Love is like, I think that's the turning point. And people go, okay, we gotta start using this guy in dramas more. Because that came out of nowhere, and Paul Thomas Anderson saw something in him that was like, this dude can do.
We all see drama. It now because he saw it.
Yeah. What was that? The Diamonds one, or the
Uncut Gems?
Uncut Gems.
That one's
Uncut Gems.
That's insane.
It's like a perfect movie.
Oh man, that movie is amazing. I had to see it again because I saw it like opening night, like I do with most movies that I just generally want to see really bad. And I was like, wow, I had to kind of sleep on it a little bit. Wow, that it took me aback a little. And then I saw it again with a friend because I wanted to see his reaction to everything that happened. I think I know what it was. I think I saw it at like an early screening. Like it was like a month before it came out, and I saw it early. So it was one of those things where I slept on it and I couldn't talk about it really much with anybody. And then when it finally came out, opening weekend, I saw it in a full theater with my friend, mutual friend of ours, Kyle and JD. And the ending of the movie happens, and everybody just goes, everybody in the theater.
Departed levels of like sucking the air out of the room.
They just could not believe that was the end. And then when it ended, it was just a muttering of like, people couldn't believe the way it ended. But I just love that movie. Anyway, I saw a new movie he's got coming to Netflix next week, or I guess June 10th, whatever that day is, a Friday.
Sandler?
Yes, and it's called Hustle. And I saw that Cinemark has a deal where they're playing Netflix movies a week before they hit Netflix. So I saw Hustle, and it's about he plays a NBA scout who goes to like Spain and finds this total random who's like he's like a street player basically, and he's like dead set on getting this guy into the Philadelphia 76ers. So they actually use real NBA properties in this, and not just that, but his prospect in this is an actual NBA player. He played for the Celtics before. I can't remember his name, but it's an actual NBA player from Spain. They use actual NBA players and cameos and coaches, like actual freaking NBA players, and none of them are bad. Like I'm like, must be something in the freaking like pool at the NBA, like where everybody's just like a natural actor, like
or just a lot of cuts.
LeBron James did so well in Trainwreck that was like, this dude's an NBA player. He should be sucking on the screen right now, and he's hilarious. But yeah, like it's actually a really good movie. Sports cliches aside, I can actually handle sports movies more than I can watching actual sports. So this, I don't know. This one uses those cliches well, and again, it's serious Sandler, so it's like, it's immediately I was like already expecting a little more from it, than I would from his comedies, because he's just doing really well in that lane. In my
Did you like Uncut Gems? Is it in the similar vibe?
We were just talking.
Yeah, we were just talking about our love for that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I want to watch it again now that we brought it up so much.
This is how I win.
Yeah, absolutely. What did he say? Somebody asked him, "Did you think this is a good idea?" And it's just like a pause, and he just goes, "Yes." Yes. You really think this is a good idea? This is stupid.
He just like has such a Guido vibe in
he
that
does have
movie.
A big major Guido
Totally.
A little bit. None of that was in our list. I didn't even mean to dwell on that, but I did watch Pistol. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sex Pistols. I wasn't at all
familiar with
watching this miniseries. Danny Boyle did this miniseries. He has done 28 Days Later and Sunshine and Trainspotting. Trainspotting makes the most sense when you watch this, because this is a very like, I don't know, it's very like the way that it's shot is like erratic, kind of like the behavior of the people that are in the band. The
they were
Sex
super
Pistols,
into drugs, right? It's like
super into drugs and heroin and like super just chaos. The band was just pure chaos. And even one of the members of the band said that in an interview. We're not music, we're chaos.
Hey, so real quick,
Stranger in Paradise.
Danny Boyle actually directed one of my favorite movies. If you had to guess of his movies, which one do you think it would be one of my favorites? If you had to guess.
I'm not good with direct.
Can I look up his?
Yeah.
So if it's not one of the ones I mentioned?
No.
Oh.
Although I did really enjoy Sunshine.
Sunshine's freaking awesome, dude.
I like 28 Days Later. I thought it was pretty good. I think it was built up too much when I finally got around to seeing it.
The horror movie, right?
Yeah, it's a zombie movie.
Yeah, that's a fantastic movie. Yeah.
I did really like it.
Tell me it's Steve Jobs, dude. That movie freaking rules.
No, but I did like that.
Oh man, that movie's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good Aaron Sorkin written script, and Danny Boyle directs it. It's not Slumdog Millionaire, is it?
Dude, I love that movie.
Really?
Yes.
I'm surprised. That's a good movie, though. I remember watching it after all the hype, and it won Best Picture, and I was like, I don't know.
It's so good. It's so good. Now, maybe the skit that Michael Scott and Holly put on.
How did you know that answer?
Slumdunder Mifflin.
Maybe that ruins it a little bit, but dude, that movie rules. I love that movie.
The movie is actually really good, and the getting a kid. I don't know what the rules of consent were back then. And it's like, obviously it's like over a decade ago, but getting an actual kid to go and jump in crap, maybe it's mud and it just looks like crap, but
come on.
I hope so.
It's not
I thought I heard like something background
if
story.
You heard something,
like,
maybe, but yeah,
I don't know.
I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I didn't mind 127 hours either. It's just, I don't know.
I like Sunshine.
That's one of 127 Hours is like one of my favorite movies. I'll never watch again. I'll never watch that movie again. It's so good though.
Yeah, it's something. It's hard to see James Franco now for some reason these days. But
I don't even care about that aspect. I mean, I do care obviously, but like, it's not. That doesn't bother. I can still watch Seven. You know, I still love these movies with problematic people in it.
Yeah.
But it's the arm cutting scene and how visceral and real
that part
like
is.
You can feel it how he does it. So like,
for me, it's claustrophobic.
It is really claustrophobic. For me, it's less about, and yeah, he is problematic. Well, a lot of people in Hollywood are problematic for sure. It's less about that, and it's more just about something about James Franco. Now, to me, he seems like a cartoon, and it's everything from the bad stuff he's done to just.
I feel that.
And now his involvement in the Heard Depp case, like everything about him, just kind of feels like a cartoon. I don't know. There's something about him that I can't really respect.
Which is a bummer because isn't he like super intelligent?
I'm dialing into that a little bit too.
I don't know what it is. There's something like if I see him, I'm kind of like, ugh, this guy.
I can't really pinpoint what that is either. Honestly,
I remember. I couldn't describe in detail, but I have same vibes where I'm just like, this guy.
Yeah. He's fine. He's fine.
So with Pistol, if you've seen Trainspotting, Pistol is kind of shot like that, where it's like, it's almost like it's a filter. Obviously, they're not using cameras from the 70s, but it's almost like he filmed it in the 70s. It's got that type of cinematography to it. It's really impressive. They only briefly, like, it's a 6-episode miniseries. It's all on Hulu already. It's not a weekly drop, so it's all there. If you were curious, so like, the only thing that I was like a little disappointed in is that the Sid Vicious story is probably the most interesting aspect of that band, and they just kind of gloss. It's like within the course of like 10 minutes, they gloss over. Oh, he probably killed his girlfriend, and by the way, he's dead now too. He overdosed. Like, you're like,
that's crazy because they made entire movies about
that. Happened over the course of like 4 months. Like, the whole murder of his girlfriend and then him ODing was like 4 months, but the show made it seem like 5 minutes or something. Like, he got out of jail from he got bailed out of jail and then he OD'd. Like, that's not the order of events there at all. But whatever. They have 6 episodes, whatever. The casting is perfect, by the way. The person that played Johnny Rotten, the singer, was like, I mean, I didn't really look a lot like him, but like the energy was definitely there. Like, this dude felt unhinged when he sang. This just made me want to listen to Sex Pistols, which I'd never done before, and it made me want to listen to Pretenders because the leader of the Pretenders, Chrissy something, she's like the main songwriter and stuff and founder. She's a main character in this show. It's like she hung around with those guys a lot. And she's played by Kyle Chandler's daughter, I think. I didn't realize she was acting, but she's really good. Like, Chrissy, whatever, she's from Ohio and she moved to the UK during that shift in the culture in the UK, and that's where the Sex Pistols kind of came out of like nowhere and made people think it was okay to just like be chaotic and swear on TV and all that stuff. So like, there was like a whole shift from like what the Beatles were to Sex. From that aspect, it's very interesting to watch the show. I definitely recommend it.
I'm kind of curious because I don't know much about them outside of, obviously it's a name I've heard plenty of times. Yeah. And I feel like they maybe had some songs in Guitar Hero, a Rock Band.
They did. They had Anarchy in the UK was the most famous one that was included on all of them.
I've seen their name. I've heard, obviously heard of them before. I've heard the Sid Vicious story before. I've heard the name Johnny Rotten before. I just never really pieced it all together and cared, to be honest. So
Johnny Rotten has done a complete 180 from like, he was like anarchist and like he's even in his lyrics he's like, I'm an antichrist and all this stuff, and now he's like, oh, I respect the Queen. I'm like, what the hell happened to this guy?
So I've heard him. I've just heard of him referenced.
We all become more conservative as we get older.
That's the perfect explanation.
But he's got like the same horrible dyed hair look, and you're like, you're still trying to harken back to what you look like then, but your point of view is like, government's all right, guys. It's not a big deal, okay? And
it's honestly the drugs. It's probably the drugs just melted his brain.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe the Queen came up and was like, I really like your music, and he's like, okay, I'm back in.
Dude, the Queen definitely listens to the Sex Pistols. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, the real pressing question that I have in this whole section is the guy leering behind you. Did you already talk about Morbius?
Not yet. So I'm honestly,
it's Morbid time.
I'm disappointed to report that there's really not much to talk about with this movie.
So you're saying half of our thumbnail is a movie?
How about this? Here's your challenge. You have
it in the thumbnail because it's capitalizing on a meme the way Sony tried to capitalize on the memes, and then it bombed again in theaters.
You have 3 adjectives that you are allowed to use right now without any filler words in between. What are the 3 adjectives that come to mind for this movie?
Dull.
Okay.
Ugly. Morbin.
Morbin. Good.
Morbin.
Yeah, it's so funny. I saw that those articles too, where they're like, we're putting it back in theaters, and I never thought in a million years it was because of the memes, but it's 1,000% because of that.
Sony was trying to
capitalize on that. And there's even all this marketing with like Jared Leto, where I don't know if you've seen this, where he's like, got my new script.
Yeah,
like, let me see it, and he's like hiding it, and then he like opens it and it says Morbius 2. It's Morbin time. So it's like everybody's in on this like giant joke. I'm like, you guys know we're laughing at you, right?
So
yeah.
Like, and they're like, no, we're laughing with you guys. I'm like, no, we're laughing at you.
Like you tried to make a legit movie. You know that, right? Like you weren't.
So Jeff, he says this during the movie, right?
No,
he said
no. That came out of,
okay.
It came out of a tweet somebody wrote and was
Jesus Christ.
Man, I can't believe Morbius in the final act says it's Morbin time.
Okay.
Right before he
I legitimately thought that was real.
I think in our other chat too, me, Jeff, and JD were all like, "Is this real?" We had to like research this thing that none of us care about just to see if it was actually said. You know, like,
see, that's actually kind of a shame, then, right? It's kind of a shame that they didn't just, come up with
It's a shame that the movie isn't worth all the memes, in my opinion. Like, I felt like if it were if it were Catwoman or Elektra levels of bad, I didn't mean to single out all the, the female superhero movies.
You are
I was going to internalize it, but I was judging. So
Daredevil. Right. Okay, how's that, Daredevil? So it's not like that where it's like they're fighting in a park and like on a seesaw and it's ridiculous. It's not like that level of like, so bad it's good or whatever. It's just bad. Like it's just can't.
Sony needs to stop making villain movies.
Just watch the honest trailer because like they point out how like the way he flies around, it's almost like there's stink lines coming off of them when they're flying around.
He's Morbin the whole time.
It's supposed to be like spooky, right?
Lines,
It's supposed to be, but the scene, that's another thing too. Another aspect of the action in it is the camera always cuts away before they show you something interesting. Like he's like he flies down to go murder somebody and the camera cuts away and you're like, what the hell? That's what I tuned into the movie for. And then the post-credit scene is hilarious. Because it's when they try to shoehorn in a cameo from the MCU, and it makes no sense. That's the best part of the movie.
Can we just put it out there? I actually want to know. I want to know.
Yeah, spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear this, because I'm Kyle, do you not want to hear this?
This is so all over the internet. Everyone's heard it. So
okay, so spoiler alert. If you're listening or watching and you don't want to hear this, skip ahead on about a minute.
Spoiler alert. Power Rangers show up and
it's I wish. God, that'd be amazing. It's Michael Keaton's character from Spider-Man Homecoming.
That was in the trailer.
It was,
yes,
but
exactly.
The thing
That's what I mean. Everyone has seen it already.
The thing is, in the trailer though, they cut all that stuff out. So they made it. They reshot all of it and to align it with No Way Home. So they show like the mid-credit scene is like the portal opening up from No Way Home, and then Michael Keaton ends up in a jail cell. And he's like, how'd I get here? And because there's no record of him being in Morbius's universe, there's no record of him being a person. So they're like, who's this guy? Let's let him out of jail, whatever. So he somehow, in the next scene, there's no like montage of him building his suit again or whatever. But in the next scene, he meets Morbius in his full Vulture suit. And you're like, how did that happen?
Where did he have the money and resources?
And there's none of the Chitauri stuff in that.
Yeah, he used the alien weaponry to make that in the first place.
Makes no sense. So he goes up to Morbius and he's like, this is like the whole line that people are memeing is like how dumb and phoned in it sounds when he's like, I don't know how I got here. Probably because of Spider-Man, but I'm thinking we should team up. And that's literally the way he says it. That's like it's like straight out of a
we should team up.
It's like straight out of an American voice actor doing a JRPG or something. It's like so bad.
Michael Keaton.
People are making fun of that the way that they made fun of.
Let's blame the real people here, Sony.
It's Sony.
It's not Michael Keaton's fault. Yeah, it's Sony's
fault. Hey, I think that's totally fair. Like, it's okay to think that a moment in a show or movie is not your favorite or cheesy or whatever. And even if you think the acting was bad at the moment, I don't think, wow, that actor is bad and they can't do their job well. You know what I mean? No. And that applies to other stuff too. But anyway, you have Michael Keaton. I would never think he's lesser actor. I love that guy, but
but also he probably should have read that script or been on set shooting it and been like, no, we got to do better, guys. It takes a village to fail.
I'm literally flabbergasted right now. I can't even
it makes no sense, especially because in No Way Home they closed the portals and
the portals don't work back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
No one from the Prime universe went to other universes. Yeah. That's not an established lore.
So did you guys see the end credit whatever for scene for what was it, the second Venom movie? Because I just watched it on YouTube when that movie came out.
When he went.
Yeah, I watched it on YouTube too.
So Tim, have you seen it?
He went to.
But I'm not gonna watch that movie anytime soon.
So do you care?
No.
Okay, so spoiler alert for that too. Literally, Venom shows up in the Marvel MCU universe, right? Like,
that's at the end of No Way Home credits, isn't it?
It is.
It is. But the setup to that scene is in Venom 2.
Right.
Okay.
So at the end of Venom 2, like he gets sucked in through a portal.
Right.
While watching I forget what he's
the
watching
news or something. He's watching.
Yeah.
And then it shows Spider-Man,
and Venom goes, "Oh, I know that guy," and he's like, "How?" And he goes, "Well, I have a memory that unlocks the entire multiverse," and that's how he describes it. And then he just portals to the MCU, and that's
I think basically the whole purpose of that, honestly, was maybe to get some of the symbiote, which is what happens, think, at the end of No Way Home. The symbiote, a little bit of it drops into the MCU universe, and now that organism, a part of it, lives in the MCU.
What?
But it's like...
What
it's like Sony is so
Sony
goddamn
exec
desperate.
have on a Disney exec where they're like, you have to put our symbiote in your movie, and you have Tom Hardy's got to be there. It's like you have to connect it. And Kevin Feige's like, all right, because
dude,
you have
gun
pictures
to
of me
his head,
because you have pictures of me banging your wife. I guess I'll have to do this.
Dude, Kevin Feige.
I just don't. I have no idea.
The classic symbiote blackmail move.
Why would you need to jump through so many hoops to get symbiote into this universe?
It's just these movies just they shouldn't exist.
They don't belong. Yeah, it's funny, Dan, that you brought up Venom too, because it sounds like Morbius and Venom live in that same kind of
they mentioned in Morbius something about, man, did you hear about what happened in San Francisco, which is where Venom.
Yeah. They seem like they live in the same realm of not quite there, but they want to be. I don't know what it is.
So these movies are so bad to me that I don't even want them in the multiverse.
Right.
I'll totally take the Sam Raimi movie. Yeah, sure, those are in the multiverse. Even the bad movies that I'm like, yeah, okay, the first Hulk movie, sure, we can make Ang Lee's Hulk.
Bring Eric Bana back for a cameo if you have to.
Exactly. But for Sony, I'm like, no, you're messy. You're way too messy, and there's way too much baggage. I don't want you anywhere near the multiverse. Yeah. Even though there's no stakes with it even being there, I still don't want it there.
Is wonky. The what Jeff just described to me with him, Michael Keaton showing up in that unit. So is he just stuck there now? Is he just stuck there? And
wait, so does he not exist in our Prime MCU anymore?
That's just how it ended. Was him going, we should team up, and then the roll credits, and
all
of us watching are like,
yikes!
But they closed the portal, so what? I don't understand.
Literally, Spider-Man is my favorite goddamn superhero, and these movies fucking suck. All right, I will never watch them.
It's such a
stupid.
Shame, man.
They're pointless. They need to stop. For the love of God, stop, please.
That being said, Craven's coming out.
Here comes Craven the Hunter.
Aaron Taylor Johnson,
played by Quicksilver.
Aaron Taylor. I took my wife's last name Johnson, and
that was
it's progressive. It wasn't a dig. It's
progressive, guys. It's progressive.
That might be the most beta move. I'm just saying.
I didn't say that. Tim said that, but yes.
Dude, Derek would hate.
Yeah, no, and we're gonna make him Craven the Hunter, which that guy has I've turned around on him in terms of acting capabilities and stuff like that.
I think he has the look for it, I suppose, but
no, he doesn't. He doesn't. Craven the Hunter's a giant buff.
Well, if he got jacked, then maybe, but I don't know.
He doesn't have.
I liked Aaron Taylor Johnson in the Kick-Ass movies. I enjoyed those movies.
He's great.
Yes,
and he's good in Nocturnal Animals.
And
Yes,
he's one of the killers or something like that.
And he's been in a couple things that I think he's going to be good in the new Bullet Train movie that's coming out.
That movie looks like so much fun.
He can do good stuff. I just don't want him as Craven.
I hear you.
Sure.
Craven the Hunter's the most alpha character in the entire world.
It sounds like the guy who's the new Jack Reacher show guy maybe could have been a better Craven.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely built for it at least.
Put him in everything. Honestly, he's so good. He's so much better than how he appears.
Kyle, to reiterate, I think maybe like face wise, like however, like face wise, he would work. But yeah, body wise,
he'll be able to grow the facial hair that that he has.
But like body wise,
they could put like a muscle suit like they do for Zachary Levi.
Well, again, and Tim nailed it. Like he's like, it's kind of a beta move. Yeah, it's a beta move, and he's playing the most alpha character.
Sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
And that's the stuff I get hung up on. I was like, I just don't. I know it's acting.
I don't buy it.
But I don't buy it. Thank you. That's
I mean, I actually thought he's one of the worst characters in the MCU, and it's not really his fault. Again, I'm not saying he's a bad actor, but I really didn't like Quicksilver.
You didn't see that coming, Tim.
Well, it's because
you didn't see that coming.
To be fair, he didn't really have enough time to like actually even grow.
That's what I'm saying. It's not his
in that
fault.
one movie.
You know. Actually, guys, let's just blame Joss Whedon. You know what I mean? It's obviously it's his fault. You know.
Well, I mean, he's a pervert, right? Isn't he a terrible person?
I don't know, dude. It's
the entire cast of the entire Buffy cast have
there's a lot of allegations. I'll definitely say that.
So before we go to the boys, because I wanted to make sure Tim was here for that, even though you came back like 30 minutes ago, we've been blabbing. So I wanted to bring up Norm Macdonald's final special because I mean I think we're all Norm fans, so like
we are. Yeah.
I think it's well worth checking out. It's very unromantic because he, according to what they show you on the screen, is before he starts his special is he got some bad news in like October 2020, and before he got a procedure done, he filmed this special in his living room, and so it's not in front of people. It's like over a Zoom call almost, and he's just got a microphone and he's just saying his bits, and the bits are so good that you forget that it's not an actual special, like that he's catering to an audience, because there's so many little like micro normisms that like just make me laugh so hard from my couch, that are just like when he does this, he's done stuff like this before where he's talking about something and then he interrupts himself with like a joke. So he'll be like, man, sometimes I'll watch TV and there'll be this guy on there talking to this politician, and this guy will be like, or woman. Will be saying something like, he'll like pause to be like,
he'll cut himself off.
Yes.
Oh man, he's the best.
It's the layers on layers, right? It's like that's just like when you're that good at being a stand-up comedian that you can literally kind of like go off course and then come right back into the thing.
I also love kind of the wink smile that he always has on his face whenever, especially when he's in like talk show interviews and he says something that whether it's Conan or whoever it is kind of going, what? And he kind of has a wink smile at the audience. Dude, I love that. I just find that so endearing.
He does this thing where like you're not sure if it's sarcasm or if he's being for real. Which, plays even funnier because it's sarcasm.
Right. Like, and he's been doing this since Weekend Update, but when he like looks at one camera and he finishes the look in the other. That's my favorite. And it's still his like same deadpan look, I really like that.
So what's even more great about the special is at the end of it, they finish airing it and then the camera like kind of like zooms out and you see that it's like Conan O'Brien, David Letterman, Dave Chappelle
that are watching.
They're watching it, and
dude.
Who else was in there? A couple SNL people, Molly Shannon, Adam Sandler, and David Spade. So all of them are like sitting around and just reminiscing about Norm and how odd the special was, because it's just not the same form, especially for like Chappelle and people that, Spade does a lot of comedy now. Sandler's been touring every now and then. So like all of them are like, that's like a totally different thing instead of stand up. It's at that point, but his jokes were so freaking funny to them too, that they were just like, you just kind of forget because it's still Norm and you're just laughing your ass off at some of the, man, there's one joke that's like, the punchline is so good. I can't even repeat it because it's so offensive. It's so great though. Like just go watch it, man. It's really, really funny. And he doesn't.
So glad to hear that's good.
And he doesn't, you can tell that he had a general feeling that he might be nearing the end. So there's some stuff that talks about mortality, but in the way that he does it, where it feels like it's more like something he just thought of in spur of the moment. And it's kind of like a general topic that he brings up and not so specific to him. He's not saying, I'm going to miss you guys. He's not being sentimental.
Yeah.
He's just being Norm. And I think that makes it even more, I don't know, of emotional watch. It's like just seeing him be the person that we knew him to be, really. Yeah, and then hearing everybody reminisce about it was it's a special guys. And the title is called Nothing Special, which
Nothing
is
Special.
genius.
I still love Norm, man. I even go back to watch stuff like Dirty Work, which is such a low budget comedy, but it's a low budget comedy, but it's so funny. I still love the scene when he's in the jail and he's walking away going like, "You should be ashamed of yourself." And he's like,
ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Every time I say ridiculous, I'm thinking of that. I'm thinking ridiculous.
Farley and the reoccurring Saigon.
Oh, yes,
it bit my nose off.
Yeah. So
the recurring bit of Norm getting thrown out of buildings and Artie just walking out behind him.
Just walking.
He's getting violently thrown out. Wow! And Artie's just like walking out eating something, and you're like, "What the hell?"
Or when the homeless person's talking about like his life before. And,
yeah.
Like, Norm's like, "Whatever. Yeah. Do you want a buck?"
Yeah.
No,
he like starts to reminisce, and it gets all like serious.
Yeah,
isn't that the same guy?
Isn't
that the same guy from Billy Madison who talks about how we're all stupider for now having?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
That guy's funny. I assume he comes up with his own lines because like it's very
I'm
funny.
assuming he's a comedian who just never kind of hit.
Yeah, I think he's a writer. I think he was a writer.
He might be a behind the scenes guy. Yeah.
He's like one of those writers that just shows up every now and then to do like a bit.
He's very Norm-like in his delivery too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the first couple episodes, or really just the first episode or so. Very spoiler-free of The Boys, which is of course now airing on Amazon Prime. We got a busy month for major TV shows that are continuing or being launched, I guess, in the case of Obi-Wan. Stranger Things is like halfway through, even though they're not doing a periodic release, they still are making everyone wait to complete this.
Oh, Dan finished that too.
You got Jesus Christ, goddamn.
So it's very busy.
It's so good, right?
There's lots to talk about. If you want to hear our thoughts on Obi-Wan, go listen last week. I kind of want to wait to dig back in on that show until the series is over. Then we can kind of look.
Which is soon. It's 3 more episodes. Yeah, it's 3
right.
It's not long.
I do have some additional thoughts. I'm not nearly as positive after the third episode as I was after the first two, but I'm still loving it. I want more Star Wars, even if it's not my personal favorite. But I kind of want to see the story play out before I sit here and cast judgment or be too positive. You know what I'm saying? I kind of want to wait. Let me see how the story is so incomplete. So I kind of want to wait unless you guys have more.
Which is why I wait to watch all episodes.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see where it goes.
Whatever, Dan. Nobody cares.
I went into a fugue state for a second. I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Hold on, let me just explain to you guys.
No, I don't care.
I'm up and down on a lot of times when shows do these weekly releases. It's kind of like, well, where are they going with this? If you can binge it and you kind of can see what's coming next, it's a little different. There's something.
That's what I mean.
There's something different.
And also genuinely, like I said in our chat, like I genuinely don't have a great memory. So for me, it's just easier also to just watch things back to back because then I'm like, I'm like hyped.
That's opposite for me because I don't have a good memory, and watching it all back to back fuses it all together. So I have the same problem, but completely different, outcome. So
sure. That's fair. So I do want to talk about The Boys though, because we have it. That's obviously just now launched, and then that's also going to be. I think that's got how many episodes?
Going forward, is it 8?
Is it going to be 8 though?
Oh, gonna be 8. Yes, 8 total.
It'll be 8 total. Okay.
So very family friendly show, by the way.
Oh my god!
Absolutely nothing appalling in the first few episodes. There.
Dude,
nothing, no butthole related activities.
I feel like as the only dad on the show, I can say this with confidence. If you watch this with your kids and they're under, I'm going to throw out the age. If they're under 14, and that's even being very generous, you're a bad parent. Yeah, you're a bad. Honestly, like this is an extremely mature show, and of course, a lot of it is played for humor, and it works. I'm not saying it's not smart or funny. It is, but it is incredibly mature and disturbing while being very darkly funny,
very graphic.
So, want to get that out of the gate? I do not recommend watching this with your kids or anyone who's easily grossed out.
Even by yourself. You know what? Just don't watch it. Don't watch it. Nobody watch it.
Listen, this show continues to be incredibly creative and so darkly funny and captivating for me personally. Despite all the dark, crazy stuff they're doing, I am so intrigued by the characters and the story.
And the cool thing is that this comic book was written a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but years ago. You know what I mean? Like nerd culture and movie culture has changed a little bit, but like there's a lot of modern day nerd culture jokes. Like there's a director joke that like in the very first episode where it's like it wasn't going to come out, but you guys kept on saying hashtag show the whatever cut, and here we are,
I love that.
That's obviously not from the comic books. That is directly pulling from superhero nerd zeitgeist, modern day zeitgeist.
I love that. I thought that was so clever.
And that's like one of many examples I can give about like modern day like superhero cinema jokes. Even like there's a fake movie that they're shooting. Or
there's some great cameos in that too.
Some wonderful cameos. Yeah. So it's like it's just they do a really good job of modernizing it and making like timeless jokes and stuff like that are it's more than just gore. You know what I mean? Like it's actually pretty clever writing and observations on like modern day like cinema and stuff like that.
The guy that wrote the comic writes the story for the movies too. Is that correct?
I thought I'm
pretty sure.
Isn't that show that I hate so much? Aren't the creators on the show Supernatural? I hate that show so much. Don't they create this show?
Do they? I could have sworn I remember reading an article.
Yeah, you're right, Kyle. Eric Kripke is like the developer of the show. I guess he was the showrunner or is. And he's a Supernatural guy.
I think that show is like the most
creator of
television in the entire world. So the fact that this guy has so much talent and so much.
But the comics are Garth. I mean, you can only go so wrong with Garth Ennis properties because he did Preacher too, famously. And that
Dan, you might be right. He might be involved in some way.
Yeah, because I thought I remember seeing an article where like when he was like, so I'm going to start writing season 3, and he was kind of like almost sort of describing it in a way of like, oh man, and now I got to top like the second season because that was so crazy, and like almost like he was like in a rut a little bit, but he's like, I just got to like out crazy like myself and kind of like almost making it seem like he was struggling to write season 3, but like clearly I'm guessing.
Apparently, the season 3 is realigning back with the comic books. So he's doing he's doing a Robert Kirkman move where it's like I'm going to come in and write the same story again, but like different, maybe a little more fleshed out. I say that with like talking about The Walking Dead, which is kind of ironic, but because none of that is like fleshed out or better or anything like that. But like that.
I would say it's fleshed out in a bad way, where it's like you don't need to be on the farm.
Yeah, it's too fleshed out. Yeah, I know.
The farm
too
is like
about
2 issues of the freaking comics.
You might be right about that. But I think like Kirkman kind of came in and got a little more hands-on with Walking Dead and kind of like put things back onto like a comic book track in some ways, like with the whispers like that. And that's what it sounds like.
I did love the first few seasons of The Walking Dead.
Yes.
I thought all the way up until The Fall of the Governor, I thought was all great TV.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Trinity storyline on Dexter, TV. Where it's like once you get to a certain point, it's like this is really good, and then after that, it's like
yeah.
Sure.
That's when those guys kind of left the show too. I think that's what it was.
So I do think they've done a good job at picking up where season 2 had just an incredible storyline, and also like the climactic moment in battle and
crescendo
the reveals was just so well done and well handled, and also
intense,
satisfying while leaving a bunch of open threads. Part of me was kind of like, hey, if they ended the series here for whatever reason, if they had to, I would feel like what a great 2 seasons of TV, and I wouldn't have been devastated because they wrapped up the story in some ways while leaving things to continue. And boy, season 3 has picked up and run with it in ways that part of me was like, yeah, it's what I expected, but the story, I'm not saying I expected the story at all. Like some of the twists and turns that have already happened in the first 3 episodes are like, holy crap.
Oh, cool.
I did not see that coming. Also, there's an octopus named Timothy. I want to give him a shout out.
Of Clan Tim. Yeah, obviously. I've only gotten to the first episode, so I'm super excited to hear y'all talk so highly about the 3 like as a whole.
There's a development in episode 2 that I was like, oh my god, dude, I can't.
Yeah, y'all have not let on that. Like, well, 1 was the best, and it kind of trickled off since then. It sounds like the 3 of them collectively were.
No, it's very, very well done.
Each episode, I feel like has like its own.
On and watching the rest of them. So
each episode has like its own either reveal or like character change or arc.
Yeah.
Dan, have you?
That's like massive.
Or are you waiting?
Yeah, I watched the first. Well, yeah. So again, you know me. I like to wait. So I think I will wait for. I'm guessing it's 1 per week, right? So I'll wait for all 8 episodes.
It's the first 3 and then 1 per week. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll wait for all of them.
So you haven't watched any of the episodes?
No, not
okay,
yet.
just making sure.
There is a scene in the first 15 minutes of episode 1.
It's before the title card, for crying out loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the opening
so you could consider
section.
It's part of the cold open of the show.
It is one of the most like extreme things I've seen, and it's crazy.
Imagine
and that says a lot for this
of
show.
South Park brought to like live action. And, like you're on the right track of how depraved,
all right.
crazy like it can get.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that a lot of other shows would maybe describe. This is what happened, and that would be gross enough. But they just show the thing.
There's a set that they built. They built a set.
They built a set. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm excited. So.
And there's a nice little.
I won't spoil it, but I'll just
butcher
say
moment at the end of
Honey,
the episode
I Shrunk
too.
the Kids.
Yes. Yeah. There's a nice Butcher moment at the end of the episode too, but I know it's not, and I can say that without it feeling like a spoiler because Butcher is nothing but great moments. Every time he's on a screen, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a memorable moment.
He's
he's
still very, very creative with his verb, his terminology.
He's got a vernacular that just he never makes cursing boring. Like I'm like, you're figuring out new ways to say touch my balls or whatever. Like there's always like a new way of you saying something we've heard you say before.
I inspire to be like Butcher.
Very, very, very interesting show. Again, incredibly mature. Watch out, but it's so good. Yeah. So I'm very excited to see how it plays out. The rest of this season. That's true of all the shows that I'm currently watching or can't wait to get into, like the newest season of Stranger Things. Like I'm very excited to see how things play out. For all these, so good summer
of the best
TV
I've seen in a long time. And
so
I say that going like the last couple seasons of Stranger Things, I really like, but I'm like, yeah, it was good. This season I'm like, this show is wonderable.
That's what I wanted to ask you guys. This is the best season, right? And it's not even the best season. It's not even over. It's not even over.
I'm not even. I don't even want to have a conversation with people who don't think it's the best season. I think
we aren't friends anymore.
I think they really lean into the things that work and they double down on the new things that are fresh. And it just feels like. They really had an idea and like if we had to wait a year, COVID or whatever aside, to get this season, even though all the kids look 40 now, they look 48. They look older than me.
It's fine. Listen, other shows give.
It's not a criticism. I'm just letting they look 40. And it's and that's fine. Like I could still you put poor Will in a chili bowl and some overalls, and I'm like, yeah, you're 12, whatever. It's
that dude is so what is it? Finn Wolfhand?
Yeah,
Wolfhard. That dude,
Hard Wolf, Erect Wolf.
His legs. There's one scene where he's putting on the roller skates or whatever. I'm like, those dude's legs are about to just snap. He is so unbelievably scrawny. It's concerning.
Eat a sandwich, bud.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it still works. Obviously, there's other shows like One Tree Hill, for example. I don't know if you guys have ever watched One Tree Hill.
I remember that show.
I know the song.
Those people looked like they were in their mid-20s and they were in high school in that show.
Well, even shows like
Mean Girls, they were 30 and like most of that cast was 30 and they're like, we're high school. Like, I'm not, I'm.
No, yeah.
Lindsay Lohan was the only one who wasn't the same age as everybody else.
Like, Rachel McAdams was like 28 years old.
Yeah,
sure, in that role. Sure. Yeah.
But she rocked. That movie was so funny.
Oh man,
that movie's so great. Yeah, that's 4 dudes confirming.
Poor Amanda Seyfried still deals with comments about her boobs telling the weather.
Yeah,
she has ESPN or something. She's so funny.
The way that they plant, like, so then when you get to the end of like this portion of season 4 of Stranger Things, when things start unraveling and you're kind of seeing all like the stuff, how it's connected to the moments that they've already shown pertaining to the main villain is just, it's fantastic. Dude.
It's some of the best, like,
it's fantastic.
Hey, we just connected our world in a way that like, and I'm gonna say it. Even Marvel wishes they could do like execute like a connection of this level.
It's
they morphed it. You're saying
they Marvel, not Sony. Yeah, no, they morphed it hard. It's just one of those things where like when it's all explained and said and done, you're going, boy, that's really clean.
Yeah.
Like even Game of Thrones at the end, I'm sure we can all agree, kind of was just like, oh, you kind of cobbled together, your ending here. Yeah, and I really like the ending, but like it's just one of those things where it's like we can all agree that maybe like all the puzzle pieces didn't fit together seamlessly.
Sure.
There is no feelings of that in this, where it's just
no
everything is so. It's like maybe they always had this idea, which maybe they did. I don't know, but like it's just it feels so complete,
Dude,
that like I almost don't mind even waiting 2 months or a month for the last 2 episodes because like it was such a good reveal. I go, okay, that could be the end of a season, and like we could be okay with that. But the fact that we're getting 2 more episodes that are movie length, feature length episodes in just a month, like that's even more exciting to me. So
and then one more final season, right? They've said the
Yeah.
fifth
I think we
final
got
season.
one more after this, so the kids will be 50.
Yeah.
They could do a flash forward. They could
Go
do a
into
flash
It's so
forward.
funny because like
They'll
even in the
literally
show
be
they're like,
Steve
it's been
Buscemi.
6 months.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's in a different state right now. And I'm like, these kids look like they've aged 10 years. Like
Puberty,
6
Kyle.
months.
Puberty.
and kids do grow that fast. That's true.
Kyle, before we
It
talk
is,
about
it's true.
news and stuff, I gotta ask: are you playing Control? Is that your background?
It is Control. Yeah,
Control.
yeah.
Love that.
Tim, I'm always playing Control in my heart. So
Okay, fair enough.
no,
Totally
but
fair.
I am replaying it right now.
As long as you're playing the cloud version on Switch, that's all that matters.
I'm only
The
playing.
definitive
I've actually
version.
never played
That's
any
the
other version
definitive
but that one.
yeah, that's the definitive
The
experience.
amount of pop-in in that game and
Oh.
latency, it kind of creates a world-building aspect to. Okay, I can't. I'm sorry.
Can't do it. Can't. Hey, something before we get to headlines, something I forgot about Diablo Immortal that was very key to my thoughts on it so far is the main villain is Skarn. Like
Skarn?
Michael Skarn.
Michael Skarn.
Like,
I don't know-
and
I
it's
don't know who that
spelled
is.
the same way. Like it's Michael.
Is it
It's
really?
Skarn.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Who's Michael
So-
Skarn?
God damn it.
From the
Mi-
Office.
Michael Scott's
His
like
007
alter ego that he
his
wrote
007
for himself.
character. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like his CIA agent.
I got
And
you.
they do a
All
movie
right.
of it.
Seen that show
Yeah,
one
they
time.
do.
guys.
They do.
And
fake
they
movie.
do the Skarn at one point. Like they do the dance, the Skarn.
All right,
So-
I'm here for it.
Looks like
That
that's gonna be
fake
cleanup on
movie
aisle
is
5.
like I can't believe they were able to get away with the movie.
Because that's the
way
one
they
that
did
they
it.
just released the full movie of that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
recently,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
With
Yeah.
golden face.
Yeah, and the amount of cameos that they got from people that were in the show before, they got them back for that episode, like
So
Roy
good.
and stuff like that.
Dude,
And
when
like,
So
Jim-
good.
when John Krasinski as Goldenface, when they're doing like the skating competition thing, and he
Yeah.
turns towards him, and it's like
they're right next to each other shooting.
Die. Yeah, and then he hurls the gun at him, and the face that he makes when he does it too is amazing.
So good.
Yeah, he just hurls the gun at him.
So good.
Oh, I love that movie or
And-
that show so much.
and even with that, the production quality is way higher than Michael Scott would ever be able to deliver.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
still good. Still good.
That's true.
All right, let's talk about some headlines. There's a whole bunch for us to get through. I'm actually going to do Sony ones last since they had a state of play. We'll wrap up with them last. We'll start with Nintendo though, because that's pretty exciting. We've got a new trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Hulkman.
I think it's fair to say this is their tentpole release, at least for the holiday, for Nintendo. I didn't see any confirmation on couch co-op, but we saw some pretty cool 4-player open
Yeah.
world exploration.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be different Switches doing. co-op.
Yeah. over
Pokemon's always been
online,
very
you know.
specific about one
Get
one
your own.
cartridge is one
Yeah.
save file and that's
Your
it.
own.
Yeah. So I have a feeling it's going to be get your own cartridge or download your own version of it. You know, you have to own your own copy, but then you can play online. But that's still pretty cool. I mean, these games are looking. I mean, it still looks the same way. Like if you didn't like the way that Sword and Shield looked, or
That's
Sure.
what it looks like.
it looks just like those.
It's not 4K, but I mean the Switch can't
Right.
do 4K. So,
But a lot of the Pokemon that they've shown, especially the 2 new ones, I thought looked really cool.
I want
Yeah.
that. I want that pig, bro. I want
Tim,
that pig so
right,
bad.
guys,
Lechonk?
hold on. No, you gotta say it correct. Lechonk.
I'm not saying it that way, but yes,
Lechonk.
Dan,
You gotta
the fact
add
that
some
you
French
had
in
it
there,
ready, and you were there, like you and
Yeah.
I, like
You
we're
gotta add some
vibing.
French.
You and I
You're
are
all
vibing
over it.
hard on this game,
yeah.
man. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. Like
Kyle-
I'm here for it.
You and me are gonna catch them all, Kyle.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We
Whatever
wanna
version you're
be-
getting, I'm getting the other one. Because you
Kyle-
know what? Both of those snake legendaries look the same to me, so I don't care.
Stupid.
You know, I'll get
This is
whatever. I
dumb.
want.
I hate this. I hate everything. about
Kyle, you and me
Hold
want to
on,
be the very
Jeff, I need you to be
best.
quiet while we talk about this for 30 minutes, okay?
So
Uh,
I think all we knew before was holiday, and now we have November 18th. Although
it's always November, yeah.
right, I just don't think we had a release date officially.
No, we didn't.
and
didn't
now we
have a
know it's
firm one.
November 18th. Release date has been announced. So that's the big Nintendo holiday game.
That's the same day
For
I'll be
sure.
busy taking a crap instead of playing this game.
You know what's cool? If you take a crap, you can play this game.
That's true on the Switch. That's the whole
I'd
point.
rather just crap in silence than play this game.
No,
Yeah.
that's not true. What are you gonna read? The back of a shampoo bottle?
You know,
Like,
Just
you
stare at
gotta-
the wall.
What are you gonna read a book? Ugh.
Yeah.
Jeff,
Ugh.
Jeff, with
Uh,
that stupid attitude, you're never gonna be a Pokemon master, all right?
No,
I'm
you're
okay.
not.
I'm more than okay with
Let's
that.
check in with Ash Ketchum, who's 38 years old now, who's still
Ash Ketchum is trying to be
still
the
a
very
teenage
best, like no
prodigy.
one ever was.
Listen, some
Right?
characters you just can't age them up, or it's not like Calvin. I'm so glad he stayed in first grade for the 20 years that Bill Watterson wrote those books. Like, leave
he
him
would
at
have
the
been a
same.
cigarette smoker by the end of it.
Big
if,
time.
Like, if they aged
Big
him
time.
up, he'd have been like, "Let me tell
Like,
you something."
he went through so many cycles of school starting, winter, summer, and back
could,
around. Like, I'm so glad he stayed the same.
It's like that 70s show where, like, in the course of that decade, they had like 14 Christmases or whatever.
Yes,
Sure.
Like, all right, yeah.
Let it happen. Let it happen.
I was gonna say it reminds me of Peter from the Chip and Dale movie. You can
Peter.
go. You can go that route. You could go that route.
Yeah.
It's true. That's a very different route. No, thank you to that one. All right. Sega has announced a Mega Drive Mini 2 for October 27th in Japan. No Western release date announced, although we do think it's probably going to land over here as well. If you're not familiar, these were actually kind of hot gift items for a little while there. The SNES Mini, the NES Mini, the Sega Genesis Mini, the PS1 Mini. Everyone's putting out their little mini consoles with a preloaded set of games on there. This is going to include 50 Mega Drive and Mega CD titles. Some of those have been announced, not all of them. But yeah, that's a thing. It's gonna be happening this holiday.
That's the thing, guys.
So there's two parts to this next thing. The first one is they have officially released the 7-minute Sonic Frontiers gameplay video. IGN, I think, got the exclusive on that, and they released it. It's scheduled for holiday 2022. The second piece of this is there's now a pretty popular trending hashtag to delay Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah.
That game looked like a tech demo. That whatever they showed.
Everyone has that thought where they're like,
yeah,
there's no way you're gonna release this game in like 4 or 5 months, right?
The frame rate is just
not great. If anyone chose to like buy that game and what they showed off, and like, dude, I actually liked the trailer. Like, not this, but the trailer that we got like a few weeks ago.
The teaser?
But then, the teaser, whatever. Like when we kind of saw, I was like, oh, this might like vibe really well. And then when you saw this thing in action, like everything about it just seemed weird. Like the way that
it seemed
moved,
so incomplete and empty and
like
odd.
It
felt odd.
I feel like they ran around for 10 minutes before they got to a puzzle. And they were like, okay, now we're gonna do like a step on.
So here was my litmus test for it. I was like, I'm probably being an overly critical jerk, like I often am about video games shows. Like I'm overly critical sometimes. So let me show my innocent, wide-eyed children who just enjoy almost everything. They love everything. So I showed them.
I love this.
And they were also kind of like because it's a 7-minute thing. I was like, you don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want. They checked out after like 30 seconds. They were like. And even my one son, who really likes Sonic a lot, he thought both movies were really good because, again, he likes everything. He's played some of the Sonic games. He loves Mario 3D World and Kirby. He's the one who played through Kirby and beat it. Like, this is the kind of game that should appeal to him 100%. And he was kind of like, it looks okay. And kind of just like left. He didn't want to watch the rest. Even I was like giving them free screen time to watch this YouTube trailer with me. They weren't supposed to be watching screens at the moment. But he was like, no, I'd rather go do anything.
They chose to go do not screen time.
Yeah, let me go read a book or stare at a wall.
That told me everything I needed to know about how this. He thought the grass kind of looked cool, like, oh, it looks a little realistic at times, but
yeah. So like I mean, for me, the main thing is just the frame rate. Like if Sonic is super super fast, that's his thing, right? So if you're gonna give him an open world. If you're going to give him an open world to run around in, which I think honestly is the ultimate concept of like allowing Sonic to like in that sort of manner, like have that potential of just being super fast and like going through loops in like a satisfying way. If you the level design is satisfying. But yeah, the frame rate just looked really choppy.
I mean, even just do something like Ratchet, where like in the Ratchet and Clank game where you just can activate your little super speed ski boot things and just kind of fly. Like even if it did something like that where it makes you move real fast, but it felt slow and it looked empty. So we'll see if they actually deliver that this holiday. If they do, boy, do I hope.
Can't believe this is coming out.
No, it has to be delayed.
It's such an unfinished product to me. Like,
unless this was like a really early build for some reason. They were like, here, we'll show them a super early and they're further along.
Yeah, no, I think IGN, the biggest mogul like of entertainment, like media distribution and news, an alpha, like a pre-alpha build. Like it doesn't make any sense.
I think this
doesn't, but
what it's gonna look like when it's finished. So I hope they rethink it. But
I think
who doesn't love floating puzzles in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, that you just like figure out how to get to, and you get up there and finish it, and then you get like some unknown currency that you do whatever with.
Just random springs floating in midair.
And because like there's so much pop in and like slow down, and even when you boost, like it doesn't feel like Sonic is going very fast. Like it's really weird. I feel like the art styles are clashing. You know what I mean? It's like the realistic art and like cartoonish Sonic, because things don't like check.
Didn't work.
Nothing about it worked to me. You know, like
you notice
looking at it like was actually
Kirby
kind of
didn't try any of this crap. Like don't
sure.
Just don't.
Yeah.
don't step outside your lane. Basically,
make a
just
bright,
stay in your
colorful,
lane.
cartoony
Yes.
world of Sonic, and I will play that game. Like,
Yeah.
make it bright, colorful, and full of things.
You
Yeah,
guys
that-
remember Sonic Adventure where they introduced like Bad Boy, like Shadow, Sonic that Shadow the
Remember
Hedgehog
Shadow,
or whatever? Like, do that. Like, just do that. Like, stop being cute and just like.
Yeah.
Like, be cute like that, where it's
Be-
just like,
yeah,
we're gonna,
be old
we're
cute,
gonna
not new
introduce
cute.
like,
Be old cute.
Nega Sonic, where like, Sonic the antithesis of Sonic shows up, and like he's got guns and stuff, and it's like, but we got a hot Sonic too,
Too
so
violent, too
Hot
violent.
Sonic.
all the fury,
which one's
all
Hot
the furries
Sonic?
can come out and love girl hot Sonic, like.
Are you talking
Like,
about?
I
Amy?
like that, but like this is like really weird to me. Like I don't know who this is for. Like I doubt even old school Sonic fans are looking at this and going like, boy,
Well,
Old school
we made
Sonic
it,
fans, I
guys.
think,
This is
like
our
just
this is
the
our
two-
Mario Odyssey. Like we made it, guys. Like
I'm interested to see if the same backlash that the original movie trailer got, which of course Ugly Sonic now is like the multiverse, alternate universe version of Sonic, which is hilarious
I can't even.
in the Chip and Dale movie.
Can't even.
But anyway, it was interesting that they got that backlash and they delayed that movie and made a much better version.
yeah,
Right.
they got a second chance. Yeah.
So does that somehow also carry over to the game? I don't know if there's any connection whatsoever, or if they, are they listening to their fans there too? I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, that's the tricky thing is because it's like, all right, so frame rate, like you can try to optimize that better, but like if the design of the world isn't fun to explore, then you'd have to scrap like the whole thing or like a ton of. I mean, like
anyone who's being honest, totally honest about it, can't look at that and say, yes, that's perfect. They should release it. Like anyone.
Sure.
The only people who are saying it looks great is if you kind of just like to like everything and you don't want to be negative. All right, I appreciate that, but that's not an honest take. It didn't look right. It looked off. It looked incomplete. It just didn't look ready. So anyway, we'll see what happens with that game. Hey, there's a lot of stuff happening over the next, let's say 2 weeks or so, 10 days or so. That everyone is now calling not E3. I guess even last year they called it that. So the not E3 schedule. Of course, we've already had a couple little presentations here and there, but nothing to get real excited about until this past week. We had a PlayStation State of Play, which we'll go over here in a few minutes. But here are some of the other things coming up over the next several days that I think kind of make for a pretty fun nerding out month yet again. I don't know what LRG3 is, but that is supposed to air on Monday.
What?
I don't know what LRG3 is, but that was listed. This is from GameSpot, I think I got this list from.
LRG3.
Yep. Also starting this coming week is Netflix Geeked Week, which usually reveals some pretty cool trailers and some pretty fun stuff. Yep, they usually show up some pretty cool things. Summer Game Fest Live is actually this coming week. It's this Thursday. Starts at the kickoff event, which is like their big showcase, and of course it's going to happen over a few days. But the big event is that Thursday morning, so that'll be pretty exciting to see that. That's the one that to me that's like the biggest replacement of E3. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward.
I think so too. Yeah, and it doesn't discriminate. It's like every platform, whatever, any developer.
Although I didn't see Nintendo on that list, and so I wonder if they're going to be pretty quiet.
So LRG
probably.
LRG3, so it limited run games, which do a lot of indie, retro, cult classic type games. So cool. Just kind of like a lot of old school games. Might
be something there on Monday. Summer Game Fest Thursday, Upload VR Showcase also on Thursday morning. Day of the Devs, which is going to start right after the Summer Game Fest Live event. Freedom Games Summer Showcase on June 10th. So that's Friday. They haven't announced a time for that as of when I grabbed this list. Tribeca Games Spotlight also on that Friday. Guerrilla Collective, which if you don't remember that is that's they've sometimes revealed some really cool things there, but they're usually pretty lengthy, and so you kind of have to dig through a bunch to get to some of the stuff that might interest you. But there's a wide variety of stuff that they usually show. That's on I think June 11th is a Saturday, right? Did I get my dates right there?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's Saturday morning. Wholesome Direct also on Saturday. I saw that last year too, which is going to air
pretty wholesome.
Guerrilla Collective. It is.
It's all just
very wholesome.
Horrible like sex images.
It's just the boys. It's just the boys episode. The boys episode 1.
I was just talking to Derek. It's actually his favorite.
It's his favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
Brought to you by Derek. The Future of Play Direct on June 11th, which is also Saturday. Future Games Show on June 11th. Xbox and Bethesda Showcase on June 12th, which is Sunday. and then the PC gaming show also on that Sunday. Those are the things that are officially here as the not E3.
Someone brought up the other day where it's like, how many more years do you think Microsoft's putting that plus Bethesda on their marketing? At what point is it just Microsoft?
Bethesda needs to release some games, right? Or they need to just remove that. So,
they gotta they'll probably announce something for the end of the year, fall. They tend to do that. No, I don't think so. No, they tend to do that though. Where like every E3, they're like, by the way, we have this game coming out, and it's coming out in like a few months. So look out for that. But under new, they're under new management. We might have something different.
All right. So
the only thing that matters is the Devolver, show. Everything else doesn't matter. So
and Keighley's show should be fun.
No one cares about Keighley's show.
Yeah,
come on.
It's all about Devolver.
How about Devolver?
They're just gonna show the Sonic demo for like 90 minutes.
Keighley is like, we've got official gameplay.
It's finally time.
It's finally here.
God damn it!
Yeah.
God damn it!
And then Kojima comes on. He's like, Sonic is my favorite property of all time. Man.
Kojima is directing this Sonic.
He low key. That's what him and his team have been making all this time. Is Sonic
Frontiers. Norman Reedus is voicing Sonic. So it's
and there's way more stuff going on.
Shadow. He's Shadow.
Yeah, he's Shadow. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So tell me, off the top of your head, without any prep or overthinking it, what's something that if you saw announced during these next several days would just get you so excited? What would make this a good? And it could be anything from any genre, any company. What would get you real pumped?
Final Fantasy 16.
Well, you already had that.
You already got that.
Yeah.
So are we saying from the ones that you just listed?
Of course.
But it's okay to say you just got your summer dream too.
Yeah, no, I did.
I don't feel like we should get to stomp that.
Well, we're gonna get to that and find out if summer 2023 really is exactly what you were dreaming of.
Yeah. Showing the Fable game would be cool. Actually, showing something of that.
I'd be into that. Yeah. I'd be into seeing Fable, seeing Starfield at any capacity, which I know we will.
I think they're gonna.
That's big for me. Even though that's not coming out this year, it's still good. Dreadwolf would be cool, to see actual gameplay of.
If they're giving us the title of the game, they must be.
I took it upon myself to declare, because they're changing their logo and all their social media stuff, that they're prepping for a bigger announcement. Also, they're prepping it in the weeks leading up to the weeks of reveals. It just feels like we're gonna get
something, maybe in the
Game
Fest.
Fingers
Dan,
crossed.
what
Mass Effect would be another one,
Jeff, what would you want to see? What would get you going?
Mass Effect, like Kyle said, for sure. If I will jump out of my seat if they give me a remake of a really, really old game that I could play on like DS or something.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Just give me a remake of like a Persona 3. Not even a remake. Just just re-release it.
I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what
bit out of my.
Can I just punch you in the throat?
What bit is it?
Actually, you know what, Jeff? What if it's a mobile version? Huh?
Hey, you know what? Put it on the phone.
I
don't even want to play it on a console.
Yeah.
So I want to see Plague Tale. We only saw a cinematic, and I want to see some gameplay of it. I still feel like I have a gut feeling it's coming out this year, because it's a smaller game. You don't need as much fanfare.
I said the same about Final Fantasy XVI.
I feel like you're pulling something that's really that's doable. I feel like we're probably going to see that, and we're probably going to see it this year. I feel like that's possible.
So I feel like if we do see something, it'll be like, here's what it actually looks like now to play it, and we're going to see. This is just me just speculating now out of thin air. We're going to see like how the gameplay has evolved, and like I don't know, certain environments look totally different. It's gonna, I can't wait for the game.
It's a shooter now. There's actually laser guns, and it's cool.
It's a shooter, yeah.
So for me, I want a couple
Resistance.
I want a couple Nintendo things. I want the Mario plus Rabbids follow-up game to be announced for like in August or something like that. I'd love to see that, or even October maybe. I'd love to see something like that. And I know it's a smaller indie game, and not everyone loved Golf Story, but I want to see Sports Story. I want to see that reappear. It's been a long time. I want to play that game. So those kinds of things would be. There's also a game that I am blanking out on the title of it, but I remember it looked so awesome. It was, I don't remember which reveal it was during, but it's a side-scrolling game. It's very pixelated but incredibly stylized, and it just had a really cool kind of like 80s neon vibe and soundtrack to it. But I think it was a one-word game that started with R. Like
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was like pixel art, but it was
looked so good.
It had that sort of like
kind of like Dead Cells a little bit, but like cyberpunk Dead Cells.
It had like a modern pixelated look where it's like it is
Yeah.
3D animated, but it's not quite. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
It looked amazing, and the combat that they showed looked.
God damn it!
Didn't they show that at the Xbox showcase? Like
it might have been Xbox
years ago. Yeah,
might have been. But it was. I want to say it started with R. But the games like that have kind of like been on the back burner that were revealed or talked about at some point. That I would love for stuff like that to come up out of nowhere.
I think it's called The Last Night.
I'm thinking something different.
It's no, not replaced. Is it replaced?
It could be a word like replaced.
It might be something like that. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, The Last Night is like a cyberpunk one. It's a side scroller, but it looks way more in depth than just being a side scroller. It's like insane. Waiting forever for that one. It's something like that. Replaced or.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah,
I don't even know how. I don't know how to look for it. You know what I mean? I don't remember.
This image that I'm pulling it. Yeah, it's replaced.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Yeah, I don't remember it being replaced though. But
yeah,
it is. I'm
that
seeing
one
the screenshots.
Really cool. Yeah.
It is called Replaced.
Yeah. That's
it still says 2022 on Steam. So
right. It's just one of those games like that and Sports Story and others that I've been interested in since they were announced, and they've just gone quiet. That's the kind of thing where I'm like, all right. Launch that kind of stuff. Like, what if we got some crazy summer? Here's some July. Here's some August games. Like that to me gets me pumped because I already know the big games that are way down the line in the future. I am excited about Final Fantasy XVI and about Starfield. I am excited about those games. Starfield. I can't wait for that stuff. But give me some of the smaller stuff that's going to be my surprise, my next surprise addiction or like huge hit. That's what I'm excited for.
Do we feel like they'll do anything with Forza or maybe just a DLC for?
Well,
Horizon.
We were doing Forzas every year for a while, where it was Horizon one year, the next year Horizon Motorsport. So it's like,
and didn't that developer decide to do something else?
Well, that developer's
they're doing Fable. Playground Games is doing Fable.
I feel like,
but we could get DLC, right? Like a Hot Wheels style DLC.
Yeah, or we could get maybe a Motorsport proper, which it may not be excited everybody as much, but like we could get.
That'd be a major game for them though, if they did.
DLCs and a proper Motorsport game, I'd be super into. I feel like Keely's gonna have Kojima on. I feel like now's a good time to be like, Death Stranding 2 is probably happening. Sorry guys, Reedus slipped.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I feel like that's.
I think Dragon Age is gonna show up there. To be honest, I think that's where it's showing up.
So what?
Dragon Age is showing up for sure. Yeah.
What would you want, Dan? Outside of what you think's gonna happen, what do you want? Like, what would make you go like, dude, what an amazing week?
I'm trying to wrap my head around because they're purposefully naming Bethesda in sort of the title of their show, right? So like, there's got to be something Bethesda besides Starfield, because it's like maybe they'll probably show a Starfield, right?
I feel like
they have
to.
Starfield
was coming out in November.
No, they've already. I think they've already said they're going to be talking.
Yeah,
about
it. We will see gameplay of that game for sure.
There's got to be something else, right? So the first thing that pops in my head, I'm thinking Wolfenstein.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I knew Wolfenstein.
Machine Games is busy. They could have given it to somebody else. They could have given it to somebody else, but like they're
What
busy.
is Machine Games doing?
Indiana Jones.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But we might see something.
But the thing is, you can have another. You can splinter off like someone who is from that original group, and
isn't Insomniac doing multiple things at once? Like they're doing Wolverine.
Hold on.
It's possible.
Like 3 games at the same time.
It might be true that Machine Games has an A and a B team now.
Absolutely. Hold on. What was Tim? What was that newer Wolfenstein game that was the 2 daughters?
Youngblood.
The twin Youngblood. Yeah.
Youngblood. I'm gonna search right now.
That was okay. That wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, that was all right. I ended up being plopped into a game with it just matches you with anybody basically, unless you obviously invite somebody. And the person I would match with, like I plowed through this level, and now I couldn't open a door without them, and they were just like camping They just walked away from their controller, and I'm like, what the. Like, come on, bro! This is a shooter. This is like
that's annoying.
Yeah. And it's Wolfenstein is a pretty fast paced, not on Doom's level, but it's a pretty fast paced shooter. You got to be prepared. Yeah.
New Colossus, if this is accurate, so Machine Games, but it's also listing Panic Button Games, so maybe they kind of helped them a little bit. That was New Colossus. That was 2017.
Panic Button probably is the one who's ported it over for them a bunch of times, right?
So. Youngblood, which was 2019. So Machine Games, Arcane Studios also was involved. Panic Button Games. So
Arcane does have their hands in a lot of different things.
Yeah. So I mean, they could certainly have a combination of.
What's Arcane doing right now?
Yeah, right, because they finished
Deathloop.
Deathloop. So.
Death poop, more like.
Maybe they have something to show off. I mean,
God damn it.
I mean, maybe maybe we get a little
Redfall. They have Redfall, yeah.
Redfall.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so maybe Wolfenstein, unless it's some random other team that we're just not thinking that
that'd be pretty fun.
I really do hope, and it looks like a Wolfenstein 3. That's what it says.
That's what it should be.
Is alluded to in like a 2018 article, but we haven't heard anything since then.
Yeah.
And since then, in January of last year, I think is when they said Indiana Jones is a new game we're working on.
I'm on board with the split team thing where maybe we have two teams now.
I think concluding that story would be really cool because they kind of left it at the New Colossus with kind of like they could definitely have something where things were shifting, right?
Dude,
Wasn't the tide shifting at the end?
Bananas.
Was awesome.
Yeah. It was bananas, and I loved it.
It really was. So
they went some crazy places in that game, and I loved it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to what's happening this week. By the way, if you didn't see it, if you're watching or listening to this, Dan did a reaction to the State of Play, which we'll go over in a couple minutes. And we're going to try to do more of that as time allows and as technology allows and all those kind of things. We'll see if we can do some more of that stuff, especially for some of these in the next week or so. If we can't, sorry, whatever, we'll talk about it on the podcast, but we'll see what we can do. One more quick general thing. You guys already mentioned the Dragon Age Dreadwolf official title's been revealed. Also, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is hitting Disney Plus on June 22nd. That's pretty cool. If you haven't had a chance to see it yet.
What a super fun movie.
What a great movie to watch on a tiny screen.
So
make sure you watch it on your phone.
I only watch it on my phone.
Watch it on if you can get a watch
on a Game Boy
that has a screen on it.
Apple Watch.
Right. Make sure it's picture-in-picture. You don't need the whole screen to watch it.
Make sure you're playing a game on your Apple Watch while it's on. Yeah. I got you. I got you. All right.
Yeah, that was a great movie. I don't understand any disdain for that movie. I don't get people.
People generally like it.
It's got a lot of. I've seen a lot of hate for it, and it's rated pretty low. You know,
the reviews were kind of a little all over the place. I think.
They were.
Yeah, and a lot of people's like lists. You know, like a lot of like industry types. It's low. It's considered low, but I liked it. So,
I thought it was fun. Super fun.
Yeah. Also on Disney Plus.
Just to be clear, I mean, it's a 74% critics and 86% audience of Rotten Tomatoes. That doesn't seem low to me. Is that low?
It seems low for an MCU
compared
movie.
to some of the other ones.
Yeah, absolutely. If we're talking top tier, like if we're talking about we're talking 28 movies or 26 movies. Yeah.
If relatively speaking to, maybe that's not beloved, but that's still in the grand scheme of things. That's pretty good. It's well received.
I don't think we're talking grand scheme. I think we're talking Marvel.
All right, fair enough.
I think we're talking on the Marvel scale. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's some super cool things they do in this movie, like you guys had mentioned before, cameos and things that pop up. It's like,
I'm just gonna say the words Pizza Papa.
So
I mean, yeah,
Eternals is at a 47 and 78, so that was pretty rough.
Did you say 47?
47%. That's what Eternals was at. Shang-Chi was at a 91-98, so good call. That was beloved, right? Yeah, obviously, No Way Home was really well loved.
Yes.
And then before that, it was just
Black Widow.
Oh, Black Widow. There
Black
we go.
Widow is probably 70.
Phase 4,
79-91.
Good.
Weird, right?
That movie is already underrated, in my opinion. When I watch Black Widow, it's like I've seen it like 4 times now. Every time I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This movie's actually really good.
Yeah, I will say the more I watch it, the more I have issues with it, but I do like it more than most people.
It felt I still argue it feels like a Mission Impossible movie more than it feels like a Bond movie or something. They kept trying to allude to Bond, and I'm like, but she's doing Ethan Hunt things, like
she's doing Ethan Hunt things, but it's literally about an orbital station in the sky. Like it's literally a James Bond plot.
That part's very James Bond.
That's true. That's true.
It's literally the story of Moonraker. So
it also feels like something that should have been like in phase 3, like in the beginning of phase 3.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe. Yeah.
The timing was
I thought the fight choreography is really cool. You know?
Yeah. If they actually
it just looked
if that movie had come out after Civil War, if that's where it is on the timeline, right? Is after Civil War.
Yeah,
so if it had come out, then that might have been really intriguing, right?
Me too. Yeah, and I like the on the run story, so like, and getting to see a professional who's like kind of always on the run. Like I don't know, it was an interesting story to tell. I just think that like when you're telling stories post Endgame, there's a lot of like unsuspecting hype that people put on it. Like it's got to be good, and I'm like, well, it's not good. It's a Black Widow story.
Yeah, it's not going to be
as good as Endgame.
The cast is insane, but I mean, it's not Endgame scale threat or anything.
It's still fun.
It's yeah, and I just admire it on a visual level.
It's the stuff in the end that I'm just like, pheromones. That's what we're going. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Okay, that's. Cool.
I mean,
and then the way
I've seen worse MacGuffins.
Pheromones? We're doing pheromones.
I've seen worse MacGuffins, but still, when I watch it again,
yeah, that's fair.
But also, fair. I mean, ScarJo's not bad to look at. Let's just be honest.
She's ugly.
Is she pretty?
She's ugly too.
What?
Kyle, you watch your goddamn mouth. You watch your goddamn mouth.
That's a joke.
I do have family members.
Honey, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know.
I do have family members that legitimately.
She's beautiful because all women are beautiful, right, guys?
Yeah, obviously.
All women, obviously.
Equal playing field across
all women.
That's what it is. # believe all women.
Believe all women.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, speaking of which, I saw someone post. I don't know if it was a message to Amber Heard or what it was, but I saw someone put, now you can honestly say that Johnny Depp beat you.
Oh my god. So brutal.
And that's the thing. What's so funny to me about all that, and we don't have to get in the weeds on it, like, she's just appealing, and like, this is just never going to end.
Yep.
Yeah. I just want to be able to move on from this.
Unless I lose.
Unless he wins.
Unless he wins.
I'm never going to move.
I'm more disappointed.
In fact, none of us are ever going to move on.
I was gonna say, Kyle jokingly said Scarlett Johansson is not attractive, but I do have people in my life that
me too
swear to me she's ugly. That she's ugly.
My boss is like, she's like,
oh, you're broken. You're broken.
Tell me eat a bag of dicks.
She's the most like average looking girl ever. I'm like, are you high? Like, what's wrong with you? Like
maybe this is a rude thing to say.
Oh, you've never met women. Okay, got it.
I was gonna say, maybe this is a rude thing to say,
the women we have in Texas are beautiful. All right, like I know what beautiful women look like. Scarlett Johansson is radiant. She's got.
Oh yeah.
What'd you say, Dan?
I was gonna say maybe this is a rude thing to say, but I feel like especially if a woman is saying that, it's like you're envious, you're jealous. Like it's coming from a place.
The thing is, I don't know why dudes say that. Like,
when a dude says that, then he's
who in here are you trying to impress right now?
He's just a beta man.
He's white knighting for somebody.
He's being
no one in this room's gonna fuck you. You know, it's okay to call her attractive. Like.
You do realize that, right?
Yeah.
I hate her because she won't do sex.
What's that somebody hanging out? I need you to know that it's the same place. I need you to know it's not true.
Right, so she won't have sex with him, therefore she's ugly, right?
That's what it is.
That's exactly right. Yeah. What a whore.
That was sarcastic, by the way, folks.
Yes, yeah.
Dwight, you ignorant slut.
I forget it's not an all visual medium. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, well, let's finish up with a bunch of Sony announcements. We talked about the Twisted Metal TV show last week about how Will Arnett. Oh, no, we didn't talk about it last week. But anyway, Will Arnett, we already knew was executive producing. Now we have it confirmed he's going to be voicing Sweet Tooth, and that Samoa Joe from AEW will be playing the character. So he'll be doing the physical representation of him.
Very interesting.
Joe is awesome.
So,
and his voice is. Samoa Joe's voice is actually like, it can be pretty intimidating too. So it's like, just use him. But whatever, it's fine. It's Will Arnett's a name, but Joe's probably just dipping his toes in the acting and stuff.
Well, also Will Arnett's executive producing, so he gets to do.
Of course. And I'm okay with that. He's earned it.
We do have the PS Plus games for this month that were confirmed. They were leaked a little while ago, and they're confirmed. That includes, most importantly, I think, God of War is joining the PS Plus lineup. So that's a pretty huge get as we get ready to launch the new version of PlayStation Plus.
Kind of weird though, because it's God of War, if I'm not mistaken, was already part of that 15 games. That
if you got a PS5, yes.
Oh, right? Sure. Okay.
I think it was just for PS5.
Maybe it is then.
Owners, if you have PS Plus, there's a bunch of PS4 classics you can play.
Sure. Okay, fair enough.
So now it's officially on PS Plus for everybody. All right, let's talk about the Sony State of Play that aired this week. There's a whole bunch of announcements.
Oh man, there is nothing to talk about from this.
My number one recommendation before we talk about stuff is to go and watch. I like watching Dan's reaction because he actually hadn't seen it yet, and so it was fun to see him kind of, because I had already watched it. So I was like, let me just see Dan's responses to some of these things. And so we'll just go through these relatively quickly. We don't have to dwell too long on all of them. There's a couple big ones though. I thought it started off with what it looked to be like a Last of Us remake or something, right? Because
it said Capcom pretty quick, I thought. So I go, oh, Capcom's doing a new IP? That's what I thought.
It didn't say Capcom.
Okay, it didn't. Okay.
It was just like foresty, and then it showed like
there was an
letters.
R. There was an R.
An R showed up, and I was like, "There's no Last of Us. There's no R in Last of Us." Like I really, just the acoustic guitar, I was really thinking Last of Us. And Dan even said it on his reaction video.
Last of Us. I thought it was maybe the multiplayer or something. You know?
When it came into Resident Evil,
never coming out.
For a second, I thought this is too quick for another Resident Evil game, and then I saw 4. I was like, "That's amazing, fantastic!"
Yeah.
Love
Which
it.
had been rumored, obviously, for like at least like 2-3 years.
The only thing that led off at the very beginning was 3/24/23. So we got a release date before they showed us.
Yeah, which is very uncommon. Then who leads with the release date? You know.
Yeah.
I don't know what caught me, but like when I was watching the trailer, maybe I wasn't thinking Capcom because they didn't show it at first, but I was just like, "Oh, is this a new like horror IP? Like this is interesting."
Oh, okay.
So because it didn't look like Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil at all, like the aesthetic of it was, I would say, very
a lot of
different
woods,
from
right?
horror.
It was just kind of foresty,
even
with
more
guitar.
foggy, you know, which I guess that the tech is there to like accommodate that type of stuff. But like the vibes of what you were seeing, because I played Resident Evil 4. God, I don't know, 20 times now. Like I know that game inside and out. You know, like this game didn't look like it. So like that was literally the last thing I even guessed was Resident Evil 4.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. But they showed the trailer for it. Elements of that could have been gameplay, but it's mostly a cinematic trailer from what I could see.
Yeah.
And
it's definitely in engine because the RE engine is just gorgeous. That thing is
visuals. For sure. But it didn't look like actual over the shoulder gameplay that we're
right.
That game's totally slipping for sure.
Slipping like date wise?
Slipping the date, yeah, for sure.
You don't think it's going to release in March?
They've stuck.
I don't think it'll slip much, but I think it'll slip out of the fiscal year.
I feel like that's when 2 and 3 both came out, was in that same window.
It did, yeah. I remember hearing that when they were doing a remake or a redo of Resident Evil 4, that halfway through it or a bit of the way through it they go, you know what? We have bigger ideas, and they went back to the drawing board and added a lot more to this game. I think it's a bigger project.
This game is huge by itself already.
It is.
That could have been a while ago that happened. Because why give us? It
was at the beginning of 2020. You know, so we're talking 2 years ago. It's enough time to develop. It's still enough time to come out in March. I'm just saying with what I remember. This is just a guess. I'm not like bringing any industry insider information or anything like that.
Your uncle works for Capcom.
Exactly. Well, listen, my uncle's brother's former roommate works at Capcom. All right.
Because Cat.
I just feel like with what they're talking about and what they're trying to like add to it, that like the project may be a little bigger, and like if it slips, it slips, you know, like, but it won't slip much. I just think it might slip to the beginning of quarter 2.
It'll be interesting if that happens, because they have stuck the landing with the last 3 Resident Evils. I think it was.
I thought Resident Evil 2 got pushed back
RE2 and 3. Did it?
I thought. I could be wrong.
I'd have to look it up. But
if only there was some device we could use to.
I won't.
We're doing this by candlelight.
We're doing this by candlelight.
I mean, I don't have an encyclopedia set here, guys.
I have one of those like potatoes, like in a water.
Yeah, I don't have a Britannica. Whatever.
That's the thing that's running my
Morse code. Morse code. Boop, boop, boop,
you know, I did have the Britannica on CD-ROM at one point. You guys, I could look that.
Wow.
Will's mom is selling those now in Stranger Things. So.
Good. Oh, good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They did also say that PSVR 2 content is in development for Resident Evil 4, and then that was their segue into talking about a few of their PSVR 2 games. And they did say ahead of time, I love the expectations they set here. Third-party partners, VR content. That's what we're going to cover.
That's what showed up.
That's what showed up, but also they did show some first-party stuff, like some Horizon stuff for their VR game.
But that I thought that fit in the VR
as well as for a major,
box.
I think, pretty major update for their Horizon game. And then they talked about Spider-Man on PC. So these I thought were considered first-party studios, but I thought it was cool that they said third-party in VR, and they slipped in a couple little extras as well.
Yeah. They basically were trying to be like, God of War is not showing up, but yet
I think that's exactly
everyone still. Some people, like I said on my reactions, I was like, people on Twitter are fucking stupid, being like, so is God of War show? It's like they literally said that.
I thought they did a really good job setting expectations for sure.
So they did show some PSVR 2 stuff of RE Village, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Chapter 2, Retribution. That's quite a title.
The first game, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, is the best VR game on the market. And
that's what I've heard.
That's not my opinion. That's public consensus.
Well, I've heard that or Half-Life Alyx. Those are the two that are elevated.
Excuse me, Half-Life Alyx may be in the because Walking Dead came out first. No, it is Half-Life Alyx. But also Steam, like, and their ability to like tackle something and like knock it out of the park is pretty on brand for them.
But I'm with you.
In terms of buying it, in terms of other games, VR, the VR game of Walking Dead's pretty up there, which is crazy because that show sucks. So
tired of that property, fatigued.
Then they showed a little. It was very brief, but some No Man's Sky. Which, by the way, if you look back at what that game was at launch to what it is now, and that's actual in-game footage. What is? I mean, that game really is pretty, and they've delivered on some really cool stuff.
I will 1,000% play this in VR. This game is made for VR.
Yeah. Flying in space, cool. Like basically an infinite game that's in space in VR sounds insane.
Well, now there is shooting and there is some action, or like you know, like stuff like this game is a lot more involved than it was when it came out vanilla, and like to be able to like play that like in an immersive situation, like it means everything. Like looking up and just seeing celestials and stuff like that. Like, that's a big deal, you know.
And knowing you can go any direction and land on whatever planets are there when you get there. That's just
That's honestly the dream. Like for me, like VR, like something like this, like something like involving flying and especially in space is like that's the dream with VR.
It might actually end up being a better VR game than an actual video game. So.
Sure.
Seriously. Even though I think that that game is awesome, but like it just I feel like it was always meant to be in VR.
Well, then they did show what appears pretty clearly to me to be an actual gameplay trailer with a few cinematics, but mostly gameplay trailer of Horizon Call of the Mountain. Looks like we're definitely not playing as Aloy because they kept calling you Reyes, I think.
Right.
That's the name they kept calling you. And it does have the floating hands that a lot of VR games have, and that's fine. I understand that's part of it, but that does make me laugh every time I see it in a flat screen trailer. It does. It does. Because I played the Blood and Truth game, which has some floating hands going on, and you're right, with the actual headset on, it's not as bad. Still a little like, look at those hands.
Goofy. Yeah.
But anyway, it's a very interesting approach to this world that we've always explored in a third-person open world action RPG experience, and now it's going to be, I don't know what it's going to, is it going to be arcade style? Is it going to be
it seemed on rails in a way.
Looked on rails.
But there were a lot of like jumping, grabbing, climbing ladders, but I think that's still all one path.
Kind of like controlling the bow as you pull back.
Yeah, and I feel like when you're outside of something that's moving, you're just moving towards getting to something else that's going to ultimately be you moving like on a boat or, you know, a mount or something like that. So I feel like it's going to be a rail shooter with some light, like platforming elements, very light.
And unsurprisingly, no release dates for any of these because PSVR 2 itself has not been revealed, let alone dated.
When they said PSVR, that's the only letdown I feel is that I thought they were going to target more hardware and give a firm release date, and now they're just showing. Or at least talking about the 28 games are going to be available at launch. Well, what's that launch? What is that?
At least say like first half of 2023 is what we're targeting.
A window would be cool.
Yeah, I have no idea when to. Like, is this fall or is this years away? I really honestly don't know.
Well, and with how good Horizon looked, like we're at least getting a glimpse of like the capabilities of this tech.
Much improved.
That's probably the best looking VR game on the market right now.
They showed Village in
Village looked good.
PSV. I was mentioning in the thing, I was like, this not exactly the same, but it looks good. Pretty close. Like it's really good. Like
when he throws his gun and knife, when he switches hands, like I was like, I'm in on that, man.
Yeah.
2 pistols.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to play that in VR for a very specific reason. We'll see.
Step on me, mommy.
Yeah, that's the one.
Sit on my face.
Horizon Forbidden West, though, is also getting a pretty major update, including a new difficulty mode, new weapons, new trophies, a bunch of like aesthetic stuff that you can add to your armor and stuff like that. And the biggest thing I think is New Game Plus, where you can now start a new save using all your end game items. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty great. And that update is live now. It actually went live during the state of play. Then they showed some Spider-Man stuff. It was not about Spider-Man 2. It was about how the PC versions are going to be launching this year. Spider-Man, the original one from 2018, is going to be on PC on August 12th. And then Miles Morales, it was like in the blog, separate from the trailer, later this fall. They're expecting Miles Morales to hit PC.
Well, guys, we lost another exclusive on the PlayStation.
What's the point, guys? Like, what's the point?
Why even?
We should all just buy PCs, right?
Yeah, you should.
Oh my god.
I got to be honest. Like, first off, PC, you're about to get one of the greatest open world video games ever made. So have fun with that. Also, this is huge, you know, for Sony. Sony's going to get good money off of this. You know, it's going to fund further projects and everything like that. It's a win-win for everybody. Also, let's just pretend. What does that game look like on an 8K monitor?
Oh my god, dude.
And
Miles
probably the best looking game on the market right now. Like once that game is up and running. So
the Miles Morales game looks even better somehow than that other one. Like it's even sharper.
Well, it's undeniable that their first party or whatever, like their console exclusive games have been given second life. Even their big hits like God of War and Horizon, they got a huge second life boost by launching on PC. And then there's other games of theirs that were seemingly kind of dead in the water, like Days Gone, which clearly got a big boost by launching on PC.
Absolutely. And the other thing about Horizon, when it launched on PC, it was a mess, but people were clamoring for it in such a way that they were patient, and when it was fixed, like it got its fan base that they were looking for. So it's like the hunger for PlayStation exclusives on PC for PC only players like is out there, and they're willing to be pretty patient.
Except for Bloodborne. Still no Bloodborne on PC, guys.
No one cares about that.
Yeah, but everyone hates all
Soul games are stupid.
Everyone knows Cthulhu art is the same as Gothic art, so
it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
It's literally all the same, guys.
I mean, really, the Souls games are just like the Call of Duty games. They come out like pretty frequent. They're all the same.
They have the same mechanics. What do they do? They update the roster,
Update the roster.
Well, and what I think is pretty big news, I think this is the first kind of official day one releasing for free on PS Plus, and that is Stray. I know that Stray is not a AAA top tier game. I'm not pretending like it is, but it's still, we knew it was a console exclusive coming to PlayStation 5, and I think it's coming to PS4 too, I think. We got a new gameplay trailer. It's coming out July 19th. And by the way, if you're going to be a subscriber to either of our top 2 levels of PlayStation Plus, you'll have access to this for free. That's their first kind of, hey, by the way, we can do this with some of our games just like Game Pass can. That was the first hint of that. I'm not expecting it for their major releases. They've made it very clear in some awkward ways about why they won't do that. But hey, what about some of these smaller games? That's cool. Because Stray is probably like maybe a Kenna Bridge of Spirits type of game at that level, if I had to guess.
I think it looks cute and kind of fun and unique.
Yeah, I think apparently there's an interesting sci-fi world going on there that's
a cyberpunk world.
Fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Little Finch or Chappie style robots walking around.
Chappie, how dare you? Why even bring that up?
I don't
Did you
know.
not like
had
Chappie?
to ruin.
You didn't like Chappie?
Oh my god!
Not a Chappie fan?
Antwoord, they evolved from being musical artists to being real actors in that movie. So
Jeff's so upset right now. Jeff's so upset.
They weren't even musicians.
Hugh Jackman
to begin with.
Oh, shut up! Diane Antwoord's awesome.
That was a good mullet.
And also like in an MSI way, where it's like, they're chaotic and weird, and like maybe I'll listen to them every once in a while, but like they're not on my list type of thing. But I don't hate them. But however, I will say, Hugh Jackman. You wasted a lot of people's time with this movie, with Hugh Jackman and like some other people in this cast. It's Blomkamp's worst movie for sure.
Yeah, I think Charlton Copley keeps getting stuck in Blomkamp's lesser movies.
He's another one where they wasted his time. Him and Hugh Jackman should have like ran off and made a Wolverine movie.
Hugh Jackman,
all right, Callisto Protocol, which I really thought was Dead Space.
I did too.
And that's
I gotta be. No one was talking about this like trailer after everything, which was weird to me. Like in our group, I mean, I really liked it. Even us in the chat. I've been sleeping a lot.
We were trying to stay quiet for Dan. But
I may have missed it, but like, I thought the showing of this, because I didn't say anything either. I'm not trying to put blame on anything. I thought this showing was awesome. I was
very creepy.
It's even more like a more visceral Dead Space, right? Like it's like almost like even grimier and just
like
a lot
of faces being eaten off and things like that.
And I was mentioning, it's hilarious in my eyes. During Christmas time, we're getting Callisto Protocol, if the state sticks. We're getting that. And then a month later, you get the Dead Space remake.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody.
And then 2 months after that, if the date sticks, you get Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah, it's a season of horror. Yeah.
That's right.
Callisto Protocol totally not making its date. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't believe that one at all.
Oh man, you are not keeping it peace.
I know. I'm not with release dates. I'm excited for these games, but like you guys, like COVID is ravaging out there. Like I know it's not like out there killing people. Well, maybe I don't know. I don't want to get into that, but like these last 2 years, we're
Kyle's falling down a slippery slope.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, we're bouncing back still from like what COVID did in 2020 and 2021, and I feel like there's no way this game is coming out in December.
We'll see.
But if it does, like, hey, I'm happy to eat.
So from the that new developer that spun off from Sledgehammer, the co-founder of Sledgehammer left and made this developer.
And
it is their first game.
It's a dev dream team. Like the amount of talent pulled from all these different things, especially Sledgehammer, which was like an FPS like kind of.
They've only done CODs. They've only done like CODs.
Yeah. Didn't they come from like Rainbow Six?
Has Dead Space devs too? I think Dead Space devs.
Yeah, Dead Space devs as well. Yeah, creators.
I should have mentioned Resident Evil 4, Callisto Protocol. So far, these are pretty clearly multi-platform. They were just revealed at the State of Play. I think it's because I've seen them announced as being Xbox and PC, and they're coming to as well. Mm-hmm. And that includes Callisto Protocol. So this is not a PlayStation exclusive. They just got the reveal.
Right.
Yeah.
Roller Drome, which I thought kind of at first I was like, oh, is this like Sable visual style, which has some appeal. I understand the appeal of something like Sable, but then once it zoomed in on the actual roller derby shooting, I was like, oh, okay, no, so not as much like Sable because there's a lot of blood and guns and shooting, and you're basically roller skating with super stylized visuals and killing everything else. And that comes out August 16th. It's called Roller Drome.
I gotta be honest, it seems really infuriating to play. It seems like it's gonna be like, oh, what if I hit that guy? Oh, it's gonna be a lot of getting mad at this game. But I'm gonna try it out.
Single player game or is it a multiplayer?
It looked like multiplayer, like play versus player. I can't tell. It didn't appear to have like a here's your storyline type of a thing, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Eternites, which
Eternites. Looks like a Jeff game.
Yes.
Looks like a Jeff game.
I was watching this and I literally closed my eyes and I go, Jeff and I are connecting right now.
Dude, I might have been doing the same thing then. I'm pretty sure I put that up.
The three of us were connecting.
You said it on your reaction. You were like, Jeff, this one's for you. So the trailer starts out with the guy, this character, it's all very anime style, and he's got his arm cut off with blood flying everywhere. And then it shows you in game where his arm kind of with this kind of energy force kind of reforms, and now you use that as your weapon. It can shape into a sword or whatever else. You're using it now as a weapon. And so then it showed a lot of really fast-paced action combat. I thought it looked pretty cool visuals. I liked the way it looked. Very dark. Like it wasn't like striking bright lights. It was actually very
anime.
Very dark. Yes, it was. The characters looked anime, but the environments and everything looked very shadowy.
Oh, right. But I'm saying like the animes that are like have really dark, like really, really dark stories. Like,
So the reason why I'm pointing that out is because it's been described as a dating sim and anime action RPG.
So that's what I was going to get into was like it is very anime because the elevator pitch is, what if you were trying to find love while the apocalypse was happening? That's the elevator pitch of it, and then they
just go play Boyfriend Dungeon if that's your
no, because Boyfriend Dungeon you can't have a katana while you're on the back of a motorcycle like slicing up people.
Okay, all right.
Right.
No, because
that doesn't happen in this game. I'm just going to tell myself that doesn't happen in this game because this game looks like garbage. So I'm
I'm not saying it's going to be on the level of that bird dating game where you're like dating like bird boyfriends
right.
or
whatever. God, yes. What is
beautiful hatful or beautiful whatever.
This game was listed as a 2023, so they gave it 2023 release window. I'm just going to assume that it's a prequel to Unpacking, is what it looked like to me. So we'll see.
No, because I wouldn't like it.
Hatful boyfriend.
It had like super hardcore Persona vibes to me, to be honest.
Yes. I forgot about the dating.
But terrible.
Why are you
a little Persona,
Japanese? Why are you learning Japanese?
This is game of the show, guys.
Because I want to be better than
to get on my level. Game of the show.
I actually got some Code Vein vibes from it too, with all
Code
the
Vein?
dark,
Sure.
dark styling of everything.
This all sounds terrible.
Maybe less vampires, but yeah. Sure.
Jeff, I swear to God.
So much.
Oh, then we got another Capcom trailer, and I wasn't sure what it was I actually thought it was a new IP at first, and then I saw it actually said Street Fighter, and then it showed them training, but then it showed someone exploring a city and like breaking boxes and talking to people, and I was like,
it took me a second to catch that. I was like, wait a minute.
I didn't catch it. You guys had to bring that up to me, and I had to go.
Yeah, it was clearly gameplay of someone like walking up and talking. Like it was obviously a gameplay moment. I was like, was he exploring in Street Fighter?
I was probably writing my obnoxious while the trailer was playing. I was like, we're only on 6. I probably missed all of that stuff looking down at my
the style does look way different from what we saw in 4 and 5. I think it looks really cool. I like the style of it. But then of course it does go to your standard 1v1 fighting.
Sure.
So it could be more like the Mortal Kombat story mode approach, where they do some elements of you're not in fighting, but then when you go into combat, it goes to the standard, fighting experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So it could be a lot like that. But I thought the style looked really cool, very colorful, and I can't tell if that was added for the trailer or if I think in combat a lot of kind of slow motion, almost like paint splashes as you're connecting. I can't tell if that was.
It looked like super moves, right? It almost looks like
move,
yeah.
I think the last game kind of started those like visual flourishes, but it looks more paint in this game because I feel like they're really leaning into the street.
Right.
Side of
like kind of spray painting, right?
And like even in the background, a lot of stuff you see a lot of graffiti. Like it feels like there's a street vibe to this. And I don't mean that in a racist way. Just like a street vibe,
It's Splatoon.
You are the most racist on the podcast, of course.
Apparently today I've realized that. Yeah.
Tunic is coming to PlayStation on September 27th, so that is not going to be counted as a Xbox exclusive for this year, but did of course get a head start and was a huge hit from what I've heard on Game Pass.
Xbox couldn't get one. Couldn't get just one this
couldn't
year.
Couldn't even get one.
No,
yeah.
Everybody gets one.
Even stuff
Xbox.
like even look at stuff like last year from like 12 minutes, which I thought was Xbox exclusive, came to PlayStation as well. It's just kind of like a timed exclusivity thing that they've got going on. And then the trailer that almost put me to sleep, and I'm glad I didn't fall asleep because the last one was cool. But Season: A Letter to the Future is this indie adventure game with lots of bikes and feelings, is how I would describe it.
Lots of bikes and feelings.
This is the type of indie game that people make fun of indie games for. You're like, you look at it and you're like, unpacking. Like when you see unpacking, you're like, stupid indie game.
I got to be honest.
And then you're like, okay, I get it.
I get
it. It's ridiculous.
This was someone who was like narrating themselves, looking sad as they talk to families in Europe or something. Like I don't know what was happening, but
Bruce and Lawrence, both of old school like Funhouse fame, they both go. Somebody in this game definitely has cancer.
Yeah,
and I thought that was the most accurate. Like
that's
take.
fantastic.
Like, yeah, somebody in this game is dying of cancer, and like
the only gameplay that I could recognize looked like riding a bike. So I think you ride a bike at some point.
It looked like taking pictures also.
You might take a picture.
Oh my god.
So you gotta live for all that cancer that you're getting.
This game is so new emo.
Yeah.
And by new emo, I mean like the Phoebe Bridgers type of music, which I love. I love her music better.
Press X to lie in the grass and think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm really connected with astrology and like that type of stuff.
Then we had a certain game director, I guess he's well known or something, showed up.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. This is where I fell asleep and I didn't wake up and I never watched it again.
Right now, Jeff, I'm gonna need you.
Jeff, you played Final Fantasy 15.
So
15 is not that great. So we got 7 remake is what I'm.
So we got
one you like. Whatever.
We got an update for Final Fantasy 16. I like you, Dan, and your reaction. I also was surprised. I didn't think they were actually going to show anything of it without their own separate event, but they did. Tell me what you thought.
So confident that they were going to show it.
So real quick, just to throw in the beginning, I think the order of that should have been backwards. They should have just right out the gate gone with the trailer, and then Yoshida should have been at the end saying all of that great stuff that he was saying. I think that's what they should have done. That would have been more surprising because the second Yoshida came on the screen, I'm like,
yeah, you're like, oh, duh.
I was like, don't.
Yeah, but isn't that the surprise though? Like him, like, because for me, when I saw him, I go, yeah, you know, like.
Well, right, but
what I'm
saying is the second he came on the screen, I knew 16 information was coming. Whereas if they just came out the gate with 16, the trailer, it would have been like, oh wait, like you know what I mean, like the logo Square Enix. I'd be like,
so you want the build and the and I just.
But if you saw the trailer and saw the release window, and then he started talking about how during these difficult times we like to make games, would you have listened to much of what he was saying?
Yeah, of course. Yoshida's great. Yoshida's the reason why Square is still even up and running, and because he saved Square with Final Fantasy XIV and rebooting it. He's a great director.
I'm not saying he's not important.
No, right.
Me. I'm saying what he had to say. I was no longer interested. You showed me the trailer and you gave me a release window. What else is he gonna say if I'm not a mega fan?
Well, I
feel like a post-trailer days that most people would be in. Like you wouldn't even be listening what he's saying. That's exactly. Did you see all the summons? Like,
well, then you guys.
We're just talking about how different.
You guys just don't even respect Yoshida. You don't even respect Yoshida. All right, so I'm gonna
talk to right now.
I'm gonna.
You're the weirdo who's got like a weird boner for him.
I'm gonna need you to.
Weird.
All right. Can you guys see my screen here?
Oh God. Oh no.
So I love this. I'm so excited for this.
Jeff, for the love of God, STFU and just watch and listen.
We'll do this for you whenever.
Hey, wait, what's the world ruled by, guys?
Is the volume too loud?
He says I don't hear it at all, but they say chaos in this trailer, and I go, they said the word.
They said it.
Yeah, they said it.
Hey, by the way, at the very end when the choir is singing, are they singing the names of the
Eidolons or whatever? Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Well, all right, so in this game, we have the icons, which are the summons, and the dominants are the individuals where the summons reside inside of. So that's the terminology of what's going on here.
So inappropriate.
Yes, but God, this game looks just gorgeous.
Yeah, I like that they're really returning. We talked about this before because we've seen the trailer before. I love classic fantasy approach. It's been a while, since we had a Final Fantasy.
Well, like there's obviously warring kingdoms. Maybe those kingdoms like believe in different summons or gods or whatever.
Little Final Fantasy 12-esque.
Well, so
in some ways,
there's a war going on because I guess the gist of it is like, so there's the icons, right? So there's kind of the different factions of the country or whatever, and they kind of have almost like their super weapon, and they have their own icon to kind of like protect themselves against the other, areas of the country or whatever it is.
Different fiefdoms.
But I think basically what starts happening is then Ifrit shows up, and in that first trailer from what was it, like 2-3 years ago, that dude freaks out because he's like, another icon of fire. There can't be another icon of fire. It's because Phoenix, I think, is the fire icon. Okay. And then when Ifrit shows up, it's like, well, there can't be 2 fire icons. This doesn't make sense. So I think everyone starts freaking out and wars start breaking out because all these icons are. I mean, obviously, when the game comes out, we'll understand more. But
I'm also looking at the interface during those little combat sequences where you can see like the button press. Well, there, but also at the bottom when it was showing you like the buttons to hit for certain moves and certain. Yeah, right there.
So down here, this Phoenix shift. Fire, jump. Yeah, because in the first trailer they had shown where he was doing like this uppercut, like I think it was the Titan's power. It looked like the Titan's arm, and then he shifted to the like Phoenix, doing some other move.
That's pretty cool.
And there's a shift because you press R2.
Yep.
So shift.
What was that?
I think we're done with turn-based Final Fantasy games at this point. I think.
Yeah, I think that.
Well, so they Square had recruited the the combat director from Capcom for Devil May Cry. That happened, I think, a year or 2 ago. Yeah. Maybe closer to 2 years.
I didn't hear that, and that's amazing news.
Yeah, that's cool. He's basically involved in this.
The original Devil May Cry or DMC? Do you remember?
Just Devil May Cry, just in general. Okay. Yeah.
The series.
Yeah, the series. So
you get some of this too, where as you're playing, those buttons, I don't know if you noticed, they switch. Like depending on what you're doing, they switch to something new. So there's clearly a lot of comboing.
Sex in Final Fantasy confirmed.
Backsides.
People are pretty pissed about. I mean, even though we already knew this is clearly leaning into more action.
Look at this. This is what I'm excited for. Yeah. Big battles,
but it's like, listen, I get it, guys. Like, you like turn-based still, and that's fine. But like,
I'm always hoping that like maybe a turn-based game will come up, but I'm never shunning a game when it's like, well, it's not turn-based, so I'm out.
Right. And honestly, it makes sense.
I hope less games become turn-based now. I hate turn-based.
And like, I like 15's combat. Like, I do like the combat in that game. I feel like some things are a little dialed back, like the use of magic and stuff like that. But like in terms of how it shows and how it plays and what you need to do, like on a pressing button wise, like I didn't mind it.
I think 7 Remake kind of perfected it. Like I love 7.
7 Remake is so unique because 7 Remake isn't really truly fully action. Like there is a strategy element that kind of takes from turn-based but you're not actually taking turns, but you kind of in a way are when
you're doing the thing where you're still working off of APB, like action point based pages and stuff like that, and meters and stuff like that. But now we have like a Kingdom Hearts almost verticality and ease of button use for regular attacks.
Look at this right here. There's something about almost like a one-on-one fight going on here.
Yeah, right? So this is insane. So like there's gonna be direct one-on fight. Yeah, exactly. Like you got a Phoenix health bar up here. You got Icon of Fire, which is Ifrit. And they're just Hellfire. Like they're doing their like main moves. You got Titan here. So
when I saw this, I started to wonder. Okay, like at what point? Are you controlling these? Are you just sending them out?
That's what I mean.
They win. Like
that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I'm wondering
because it can't. I don't think it's just going to be them doing moves because that's just kind of point. Why would you have health bars and like almost seeming like you're taking turns? Like I would assume you're taking control.
Because that's the thing in 15, the summons are like the coolest looking they've ever been, but the way that you summon them is dumb.
They just come out. They just come out, do their move.
So I feel like maybe in an over course correction, they're like, "Well, fine, you idiots, you get to play as them now."
Right.
or something.
Or it's something where you upgrade them and then send them into battle.
Diamond Dust.
It could be a thing where they fight automatically, but you can upgrade and adjust them.
Garuda, can we just shout out to Garuda here? Because Garuda doesn't get a lot of attention throughout the series. Yeah. She's just this crazy bird lady, but like she looks fucking awesome. Cool as hell here. And right here, she totally just demolished Ifrit's arm. By the way, I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
Just
I didn't notice
arm
that. No,
arm gone. His arm's just falling right off.
It's just
Oh,
a flesh wound. He's fine.
Yeah, you got Bahamut there fighting freaking Odin.
Yeah,
Like that scene is sick.
That's cool. Look at that. Come on.
Diamond Dust with Shiva.
Shiva, Ifrit.
Mega Flare.
Yeah, like at the end, they're singing their names.
Yeah.
That's what the
Phoenix.
yeah right here. They start
Titan.
singing Phoenix, Titan.
Yep.
They're actually singing the names. Ramu. Yeah, man, I feel like this game is presenting itself as an incredibly epic fantasy adventure. It looks awesome. So I really hope they deliver. When I saw summer, as it'll pop up here at the end, summer 2023, I didn't think that's horrible. I'm so mad. I just kind of felt really disappointed because
there was a deflation.
I did feel a little deflated, not only for myself, but also for Dan, because in talking to you and knowing how excited you are for this game, I remember even last year you were wondering, everything they've said, this could be a surprise holiday release. You were thinking for 2021. Then we were thinking, okay, tell you what, this is probably 2022. Maybe a surprise summer game, maybe a surprise holiday game. Now they're telling us summer 2023.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull a Kyle here and say, I don't think it's actually I think it's going to be later than that. It's going to probably be pushed back because they don't have a date yet. I think it's likely to get bumped back.
Now that I'm on the other end of it, that doesn't feel good. Yeah.
Well,
Sorry,
let me just throw out there, not being overly P here, but Yoshida has confirmed that the game is like completely
done from
put together,
start
to finish. Like you can
play it all the way through. Yeah.
So they're just
it's
optimizing and tinkering. But
he said optimizing. You're right. Yeah.
But a year seems like a long time to do that. But
I
mean, this game could be massive. That's the thing. We don't know how actually massive this game is. They've shown there's actually been a couple of screenshots that have come out since this trailer of the like I guess overworld, if you want to call it that. But it's not like classic overworld of like the PlayStation 1 Final Fantasies. It looks more like 15, but like way more detailed. Like super, super detailed. So like this game could just be insanely massive. And that's why it's gonna take that long to optimize it and do all of that work.
Yeah, maybe a lot of the open world right now is like empty, like it's just like or not detailed enough or whatever.
But I wanna also throw out here real quick. So this is why also another tidbit that the story seems super interesting. So this is Ifrit right here doing an uppercut. Who's he uppercutting? That looks like another Ifrit.
Oh.
So that's super interesting.
It just looks like a fiery blob from here. I can't tell.
To me,
these fights are very Transformer.
You can tell
this.
Wait, was Final Fantasy XVI directed by Michael Bay secretly?
This is the Michael Bay video game.
This is the Michael Bay cut.
So is the date here? Yeah, there we go. Summer 2020.
So I'm always gonna be excited for it. But yeah, I always remember the interviews where he's just like, we're gonna show off the trailer, and I'm telling you guys. Not long after you guys are gonna be playing it.
So that's what it was, Kyle.
This feels like a long. We're seeing it now, and a year feels like a long time from now.
Yeah, it was him when he was saying that. When we give you information, the game's not too far behind.
Yeah,
that's when I was like, a year is that's more than a year. Like we're technically not even in summer yet of this year.
And I never want to go against my if you want more time in the oven, please take. And like I'm always going to be on that side of the fence. Like please take all the time you need or whatever.
It feels a little misleading, is all I'm saying.
But yeah, absolutely. Like we need to start thinking about like the industry, how they talk about their games and the announcing process of things. Because I still like. There's a lot of lies there still. There's a lot of like.
Oh sure.
It would have been better off just saying like, hey, this game is still a ways away, but we feel great about where it is. We can't wait to show you more. Like keep it at that. I mean, don't keep giving us the little like when we do this, it's really close.
And
like
Final
that
Fantasy is like how long did like 13 take to come out? Like it was like a classically extremely long development process, and like and 13 verses too, and its process of turning from 13 verses all the way to 15.
That was a whole nonsense.
But those were two back-to-back entries that were just like,
but 7 remake though they got out pretty quick.
Especially because there was a termination.
There was the shift in from CyberConnect 2 to bringing it in house. So
which that was always weird. Like, you're getting the Naruto guys to make a Final Fantasy game. That's cool.
Yoshida doesn't strike me as the type of person to just throw out that information though. So like I don't know obviously I don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
And they're using the same engine, right? As 15 and 3.
No.
Let's set aside because
I think it's Unreal. I'm pretty sure it's
the hype is real. And I think it's very fair to say that this is awesome to be hyped about. So this is not me trying to say that we shouldn't be hyped for it. But Dan, if you're being totally honest, don't you feel like even Yoshida, who's awesome, wasn't super upfront last year?
No.
We're talking like before. We're talking about more than a year ago, and he was making it sound like this game is imminent.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't.
That wasn't cool to do to fans.
No, but what I'm saying is like he doesn't strike me as the type of dev who's gonna like be kind of like bullshitting people. Mm-hmm. So something was going on where it seemed like the game, like he said, like when we show you this game, then it's gonna be pretty close. And obviously that's not the case. Yeah. So I don't know what
something
happened.
must have happened.
I don't know what happened.
It's one of those moments where like when he said it was true, but like things changed.
Yeah. But like he doesn't like what was the new?
Didn't he stay up all night stressing about something one time?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The expansion, the newest expansion for 14, he literally was like, he was saying how he was just so unbelievably stressed, and they had like a live stream where he was just like so apologetic. Like he was just like, you could just tell he was just so like, guys, I am so sorry. I need like another month on this. Like, please, I'm so sorry.
I feel like as much as we're talking about it, he's thinking about like, boy, I did promise.
So you're saying he's won enough goodwill with you to be like, something else is going on. This isn't him.
Yeah,
either that or I know there's some backstage remorse going on because he's been very vocal about like how bad he feels about not making deadlines and stuff like that.
He's
like,
expressed
how
that
it
with
means
14.
a lot to him, and I choose to believe him, but like I understand the frustration on the outside.
I mean, obviously, I could be wrong. I don't know him personally. I don't know.
Yeah,
this guy,
it could be. He could be a great PR speaker.
But he just
Guys,
strikes me
as sorry.
He just strikes me as a dev who's honest, and he's conveyed that with 14 because again, he's been the director of 14 the entire time that it's been up and running. So,
well, I will say that after the first trailer, I was intrigued, and now this one, I'm like, dude, I'm pretty hyped for this game, but I'm keeping it tempered because I'm like, hype can't last for. I'm gonna guess at least another 15 months till this game actually arrives.
Oh, I'm not gonna actually think about it that much.
But it can for me. I can be hyped about something for 10 years. I don't care.
See, for me,
Kyle lives at
but
hype.
No. But like, I get what you're saying because like once that was done, I was like, I wish they hadn't have shown that much because now I have to wait a year for that. You know what I mean? Like they could have cut it a little less, like before all the epicness, and like we could have just gotten a little, and then they could have parsed out. Some stuff.
I would rather than
I'm glad we got what we got. It was
extra year, or even if it ends up being like a year and a half. I'm with you. Take the extra time. Don't make it Final Fantasy 16 Part 1. You know what I mean? Like I love the idea of give me a complete game. Start to finish.
No, it will be.
That's great. That's great. Take your time and do that. That's fine.
Jeff, Jeff, you may speak now. What are your thoughts on this new game?
It's really not even worth talking about this much. My God.
It absolutely is. What do you actually think?
It just looks fun. It looks fun. That's it. All right. It just looks fun.
Why, you're being a real Derek right now. All right.
I am a little bit. I am.
Do you not care about the fan? Do you not care about the fantasy?
This is like, I just don't think Star he's a Final Fantasy fan. You know, like this is the way I want to talk about Star Wars when I see a new thing, even if it's just like a minute and a half trailer. This is like damn Star Wars. So
that's right. But I'm curious though, because Jeff, you seemed like you legitimately liked 7 Remake. Is it just you don't like the fantasy style, so you just don't care as much, or
it's just so early?
I just rather play the game and find out what it is. I don't really pay attention to like on these type of games where I just go, it's about the fun combat for me and that's it. I don't really dig into marketing or whatever to find out more about the background of it when it's just the appeal for me is just the action. So like for me it's like the treat is like the fantasy setting and the story and the lore and stuff that I pick up along the way. But the what's the freaking word I'm looking for? The edibles kicking in, guys. I don't know what to tell you.
The edibles kicking. No, I mean, dude, like
okay, Dan, think of it this way. Think of it like if you're not a huge Marvel fan, but you enjoy the movies, and you're not going to sit there and watching Kevin, whatever his name is, lay out the next.
How dare you? How dare you not
lay out the next 8 years of movies? You're not going to get as excited.
No,
even though someone else,
Kevin baseball hat.
Hang on. Someone else might cheer. Someone else might cheer at every title because they read the comics and they love it and they can't believe that. But some people might be like, "Okay, that's cool."
Well, like, no, that's fine.
When I see it, I might enjoy it.
Incentive
right now,
is the word I was looking for. So, like, my incentive is different than yours. Like, to get the game.
But I'm just saying you're being extra wise ass. So I was.
Oh yeah, it's really.
I was
entertaining for me.
I was wondering if you just legitimately are like, I'm not feeling the fantasy vibes, or
I think he's just not as hyped.
Just being a wise ass. That's fine.
No, I'm like low level, and on top of that being a wise ass, low level hyped for it. Still hyped.
No, that's fine.
Hype is there. And also it's just really fun to just not show some pee towards something you like.
You're a real jerk.
What a guy.
I love Final Fantasy obviously the most here, but like the bottom line is I absorbed the trailer. I'm super excited, but I'm not gonna like bring it up every episode. So
you are.
No, I mean
I'd be really disappointed if you didn't. Every thumbnail going forward is gonna have Final Fantasy 16 in it.
I'm gonna put
a different summon for the next 8 weeks. Yeah.
That's way too much Photoshop work.
You can always tell what each of us are most interested in, because something that feels like non-news or really low-level news to others, someone else is like, did you hear that this director, it might do a sequel to this movie that none of you have seen? Are you so excited? Like, some of us are there and some of us aren't there. Yeah. And we all have that thing.
Oh, that's fine.
That's me during like the state of play for me. I mean, Final Fantasy 16, yes, that was exciting reveal, especially because I didn't expect, like, it was just one of those things where I was like, I kept hearing rumors they were going to show it, and I was just like, whatever, they're not going to show it. So like for me, it was a cool moment. But yeah, the PSVR stuff, I was like tuning out, like pretty hardcore.
Sure.
So I was like, that technology, there's still I assume I'm not alone in not that technology just not appealing to me, like, at all on any level. Like, I'm not
for long form gaming. No,
I'm on Tim's camp. Like, I think it's super interesting and it's super fun, but like it's not Ready Player One yet. So like,
no. Yeah,
it makes me dizzy.
And we're not going to care on a level where it matters until it gets there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Until someone like me,
I just want a suit where when the character touches you, it feels like they're touching you. That's all I want.
So you want to have,
and it's for gaming reasons, no other reasons.
And then I'll play Resident Evil Village, specifically one part over and over again. No big deal, guys. Don't be weird.
Chainsaw to the neck, right? Chainsaw to the neck.
You guys are supposed to be encouraging of things that I like. Because of
you weren't encouraging of my Final Fantasy love, so screw you.
Oh, you're right, and it is Pride Month, and I should have celebrated something gay that you like.
Yeah, Fantasy Pride. My fantasy pride.
I'm kidding.
You're not being nice towards my fantasy pride. Hey, speaking
the edible really is kicking in. It's 100% kicking in.
Do you guys know that there's something called leather pride, which is people that are part of that sort of culture that are super into leather
and S&M
doing sexy stuff pertaining to leather. Apparently, there's a separate category for that. Apparently, they need to have prides for leather. So
there's subgenres for all sorts of stuff.
Latex pride. There's also latex pride.
That needs to be we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah, good job, Tim. Yeah.
I need one of you. Something that Derek and I used to do for years was I would force Derek off the cuff to give me some words of wisdom as we close out. So I need one of you to step up and give the listeners / watchers some words of wisdom as we say farewell. Who's gonna do it?
I think it has to be Jeff because he's on edibles right now.
No, please.
Jeff, what's your words of wisdom for our listeners and watchers?
If you can't, don't. That's all I got. That's
so good.
That's what she said.
That's so good. All right. I think that's it. Did we miss anything? Did we miss anything? Are we good?
No, that's it. Final Fantasy, and if you can't, don't.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. If you can't, don't.